College football is more than a game. It's a blend of deep-rooted history and rich tradition. In the last 40 years, we've seen teams that are nothing short of legendary. Players who've become icons of the sport, and now the game has truly become a national obsession. But imagine if we hit the rewind button back to 1980 and we were able to re-simulate history. Well, that's what I've done. I've crafted 30 of college football's finest players from 1980 and placed them back at their original schools. But the real twist comes with each offseason. I'm going to be adding the top 23 recruits from the actual recruiting class of that year. We're going to track their journey from the start of the recruitment process to National Signing Day. This is going to fuel the new dynasties of the sport and reshape the college football universe. Then I've also made 24 of the best coaches of all time and reset their age to 22 and restarted their coaching careers at the school where they became legends. And we're going to watch their careers unfold, tally their wins, watch them chase national titles, and we will see who will emerge as the new greatest coach of all time. We're also going to follow along with each season, dissect player stats, follow team records, catch the biggest games live, and witness the crowning of new national championships. Now, I'm also going to be keeping track of the best player, coach, and team of each decade. So I'm going to need you guys to help in the comment section below telling me who should win each award. And at the end of each decade, I will be making a poll on my YouTube so you guys can vote on the winner. So if this sounds like something you would be into, make sure you sub to the channel so that you can help vote on the polls and so you don't miss any of the uploads in this series. In total, we're going to have over 920 custom-made recruits over 42 recruiting classes. This isn't just a simulation, it's the most ambitious NCAA football series ever tried on YouTube. It's going to be spanning 7 parts and 28 hours to get through all 42 seasons. Now, this is going to be the final part of this series. In parts 1 through 6, we went from 1980 all the way till 2017. Then in this last episode, we are going to be wrapping it up going from 2018 to 2023. Alrighty, guys, we are here. Now, if you've been following along with this series, you know how it goes. I started in 1980. This is a 7-video series, and this is the final one. It's going to be 28 hours long in total. You know, we have went through 37-ish seasons, something like that. We are all the way in 2018. So if you guys haven't watched the rest of the series and you're just hopping in now, I want to do just like a little, we'll do it really quick, just kind of a breakdown of what this is. So reset in 1980, we're in 2018. There's 3 main elements to these videos. First is I make real life recruits. So for each year, I make 23 real life recruits. Vince Young, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Deion Sanders. We've seen all those different guys in the series, and we basically follow along, see where they sign. We have no control over it. They sign wherever they want. And basically, we're going to see, you know, where they sign, and we're going to follow their 4-year career until they leave for the NFL. So that is the first part. The second part is I made 24, I believe it was 24 of the best coaches of all time. I made them 22 years old in 1980, and I reset all of their, you know, records. So they start with 0 wins, 0 losses, 0 years coached, and I put them on the team they were most well known for, roughly. And, you know, we are 38, I think, years in. If we look, we are 38 years in. So far, I think 10 or 11 of the coaches retired. Almost all the coaches have been fired and hired at new places. I think there's only 3 coaches who, you know, are still at their original school. And other thing, guys, I tried to make their coaching style match up with how they played in real life. So my best example is Nebraska has Tom Osborne, and they ran the triple option, you know, wishbone type offense, so, and really run heavy. So that's what I made them in this, and I tried to do that for each coach. So first coach we have, so remember though, 11 have retired. Barry Alvarez, he started at Wisconsin. He's bounced around a ton. Bobby Bowden went at Florida State, been at Florida State a few times. He's now the head coach at South Carolina. Mac Brown and Pete Carroll. Mac Brown started as the head coach at Texas. He got fired. He's come back as the OC. Kentucky. Pete Carroll, obviously at USC. Now he's the DC at Texas. Jim Harbaugh started actually as the head coach at Stanford. Bounced around a bunch. Now he's the OC at Stanford. We got Woody Hayes. Now he's one of the coaches who has stayed at Ohio State the whole time. So he's been there at 38 years. He's 410 and 104. We have Lou Holtz, who started at Notre Dame, bounced around a bunch. All these coaches, other than the three, have bounced around a ton. Don James, who started out at Washington, and you can see for each of them guys, their career record, all their stats. Chip Kelly started out at Oregon. Urban Meyer, now he's been at Florida for 38 years, 436 and 83 career record. Robert Nealon's back at Tennessee. He got fired. He's come back. I think it's his third time being the head coach there. Ed Orgeron is back at LSU. Legitimately probably his fourth time being the head coach at LSU. It's weird that they keep getting rehired at these schools, but there you go. We got Ed Orgeron. Tom Osborne, head coach at Nebraska. He's one of the only three who's been at the school the whole time. It's Osborne, Urban, and Woody Hayes. Joe Pa's been at Miami now for quite a few years, and he's actually got them on a pretty good run right now. He's been there for 9 years. Gary Patterson, OC. Nick Saban, really not been good. He's got an under 500 record. Bo Schembechler, now he started at Michigan. He's actually been at Penn State for 22 years now. So over half the sim, he's been at Penn State and he's doing a really good job. Same with Howard Schnellenberger. He started out at Louisville. He's been at Georgia Tech for 20 years. So huge time there. Oh, sorry. We have 4 coaches. I forgot about Kirby Smart. So Kirby Smart has also been with Georgia the whole time. Been, done well. Steve Spurrier's at Michigan State. Dabo bounced around. Barry Switzer. Now he just got fired from Oklahoma like 2 years ago. So he was with Oklahoma forever. He was one of the 5 coaches that was just running shit, but he did end up getting fired. Kyle Whittingham, DC at Georgia, and that is it. Now, I periodically will check every year to see who gets fired, all that stuff, but we also can look at like career records. So right now, Urban Meyer has the best record, then Woody Hayes, Tom Osborne, Barry Switzer, Kirby. This is my coach. So I control Air Force. I don't recruit. I don't do anything. I just sim everything. So that's our record. Howard, Jimmy. So you can go all the way down. You can go by winning seasons. You can go by win streak, conference championships. Interesting. So Urban Meyer's won 17 conference championships. Woody Hayes, Barry Switzer, Tom Osborne, Howard Schnellenberger, national championships. Now this one's huge. Urban Meyer has won 6 with Florida. Woody Hayes has won 5 with Ohio State. Barry Switzer won 4 at Oklahoma. Then Lou Holtz won 2 at Notre Dame. But if we just go down by schools, Florida has 6, Ohio State has 5, Oklahoma has 4, but also Texas A&M and UCLA both have 5 national championships through the sim as well. So they weren't with any of our custom coaches, but just throughout the sim, they've won each 5 national championships. So that is really breaking down the coaches. Then the other aspect, guys, is, we have the recruits, we have the coaches. Then we're actually going to sim through the seasons. We're going to follow along here. We'll hop in, we'll super sim and watch some of the game live. We follow all the stats. We look who wins the Heisman, All-Americans, all that stuff through the year. So right now we're going to look at recruiting though. And then, at the start of the next season, we're going to look at the rosters at the start of this season. So this is the 2018 season. This is a very good recruiting class we are starting out with. One of the better recruiting classes out of all the sims. So right here, guys, we can basically look and we'll look at each position group and we'll just kind of see where each player is leaning. Then at the midpoint of the season, we'll check again and we'll see who's signed and where they think they might go. And then at the end of the season at National Signing Day, we'll check one more time. So right now we have Justin Fields from Georgia, started at Georgia, ended up at Ohio State, and a first-round pick by the Bears. He's looking at Miami, Florida, Clemson, Georgia, Georgia Tech. We have Trevor Lawrence, who is debatably the best high school quarterback of all time, prospect-wise, coming into the draft. Went to Clemson from Georgia, as well as Justin Fields, first overall pick by the Jags. He's looking at Florida, Georgia, Miami, Ohio State, Clemson. Florida has just had an insane run of quarterbacks. It's actually insane. Then we have Will Levis, who actually started out at Penn State before transferring to Kentucky. He's from Connecticut. He's looking at Penn State, Army, Navy, Ohio State. And then our last one is going to be Joe Milton. He's from Florida, like absolute insane athlete, crazy arm. Started out Michigan, transferred to Tennessee. He's looking at Florida, Ohio State, A&M, USC, and A&M Nebraska. Then if we go down to running backs, we got two. First, we got Dameon Pierce. Now he's from Georgia, but he played at Florida. He's looking at Vandy, LSU, Mississippi State, BYU, Georgia. Then we got James Cook. This is little brother of Dalvin Cook, playing with the Bills right now, played at Florida State. He's from Miami. He's looking at Florida, Miami, Georgia Tech, Georgia, UCF. Then if we go wide receivers, we got four. First, Jamar Chase from Louisiana, played at LSU, one of the best college receivers ever. He's looking at A&M, Florida, Ohio State, Nebraska, Alabama. We got Jalen Waddle, who was on those Alabama teams that were really good, playing with the Dolphins right now. He's looking at Florida, A&M, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State. We got Justin Ross, who he's from Bama, but he actually went to Clemson with Trevor Lawrence. He's looking at Florida, Miami, Georgia, Georgia Tech. Then we got one more, and it is Terrace Marshall, who also went to LSU with Jamar Chase on that 2020 team that was unbelievable. He's looking at LSU, Arkansas, 2019 team, A&M, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. We have one tight end who's one of the scariest college tight ends we've ever seen. Kyle Pitts, 6'6", top 5-10 pick by the Falcons in the NFL draft. He's looking at Penn State, and he went to Florida. He's looking at Penn State, Pitt, Army, Ohio State, West Virginia. Then we go to offensive line. We got one tackle. We got Penei Sewell. He's from Hawaii. He went to Oregon, top 10 pick by the Detroit Lions. He's looking at Florida, Ohio State, Nebraska, A&M, UCLA. No guards, but we do have a center. It is Trevor Linderbaum, really good tight end, played for Iowa. He's from Iowa, got drafted by the Ravens. He's looking at Iowa, Nebraska, Mizzou, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Go to defensive ends. We got three. We got Azeez Ojulari. He played at Georgia. Really good athlete, pass rusher off the edge. He's looking at Georgia, Georgia Tech, Florida, Alabama, Miami. We got Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, and Michigan fans, close your eyes. Looks like he might go to Ohio State. Obviously, really good player for the Lions and the Wolverines. Then we got Gregory Rousseau. Now, Rousseau's from Florida, really big, 6'6", 260. Went to Miami. Got picked by the Bills in the NFL draft. He's looking at Florida, UCF, Miami, Georgia, Florida State. We go to defensive tackles. We got one, Christian Barrymore from PA, Philly, went to Bama, got drafted in the second round by the Patriots. He's looking at Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Miami, Navy. Then we move to outside linebackers. We got a couple. Micah Parsons from PA, went to Penn State. This is one of the crown jewels of this recruiting class. One of the best defenders in the NFL right now. He's looking at A&M, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia. Quay Walker. He's only a 3-star, but he's definitely better than that. He went to Georgia on their really good, defenses. Outside linebacker, 6'4", 230, kind of do it all. He's looking at Florida, Georgia Tech, Georgia, Miami, and Ohio State. We actually have no middle linebackers in this class as far as, and the rest of the class, guys, is obviously just auto-generated, guys. I just make 23 recruits each year. If we go to cornerbacks, we got first Asante Samuel Jr., obviously the son of Asante Samuel, played with the Patriots. He went to Florida State, drafted by the Chargers. He's looking at Florida, A&M, Ohio State, Penn State. We got Patrick Surtain. Unbelievable corner at Alabama, top 10 pick by the Broncos. He's from Florida. He's looking at Florida, A&M, Ohio State, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Then last but not least, we have Tyson Campbell, who is also on those really good Georgia defenses. He's looking at Florida, Ohio State, A&M, Nebraska, USC. And then we have one safety. It's going to be a strong safety in Javon Holland. He's from Oakland, California, got drafted by the Miami Dolphins, played at Oregon. He's looking at USC, Nebraska, A&M, Stanford, Ohio State. So that is the recruiting class, guys. And like I said, we're just going to basically check on that two more times through the year, see where all those guys end up. And that is basically what's going to build out, who's going to be the next great team and who's going to wrap up this video as the best teams. So far, recruiting wise, if you haven't been following along with every other episode, Ohio State and Florida are the best recruiting teams. Florida has been consistently the best team in this sim. UCLA went on a run from about 1995 to about 2014 where they made 15 national championships, won 5 of them. It was insane. I don't even know how they did it. They were never quite as good of a recruiter as Florida, but they were just super consistent at getting to the big game. So that's kind of just a breakdown. Okay, so first things I like to do is I just kind of at the start of each season, I want to get a kind of a rundown on how we're looking. So I'll look at the top 25, we'll look at the best teams. So right now, Florida's an A+ across the board. Last year's team was one of the best teams we've ever seen, and I think they're going to be very good again. We got Ohio State, who's an A, but looks really good. A&M, A-, really good on offense, not great on defense. Stanford looks decent. Minnesota, Miami looks pretty good. Nebraska looks not bad. Penn State looks really good. TCU looks decent. Army looks okay. Oklahoma, BYU, USC actually looks really good. Georgia looks really good. UW looks not bad. Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Tennessee looks all right. Navy's an A. Okay, we got to look at Navy. I never really look at them. Michigan looks okay. Just kind of go down, see if there's any more A's. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're sitting with the top 25 who just basically we look like could get it done this year. We look at Heisman watch right now. Kyler Murray, he's at UCLA, first on the Heisman watch. We got Josh Allen at USC, who had a great year last year. He is third on the Heisman watch. And then Jared Goff, who's coming in as his third year as the starter for Florida, won the national championship last year, made it the year before and lost as his first year as a starter. So he's trying to wrap up his 3-year run. Before him, they just had Jameis Winston, who was absolutely incredible for them. They had Brett Favre, they had Tim Couch. Like, their quarterback run has just actually been insane over this time. So looking at first team All-Americans, we got Jared Goff, we got Dalvin Cook at Georgia, we got Joe Mixon at Vanderbilt, we got Deebo Samuel at Florida, who had 1,600 yards receiving last year. We have Cam Robinson, we have Quentin Nelson at Michigan State. Defensively, looks like mostly auto-generated. We have Dante Jackson at Nebraska, and then the rest are auto-generated guys. Second team, we got Josh Allen at USC, Michael Pittman at Cal, Isaiah Wynn at UCF. We got Derek Brown at Nebraska. Looks like a lot of auto-generated. We got Derwin James at Florida. So that is where we're looking like for there. Then other thing I like to look at is championship contenders. Basically, this is going to take projections over the next 4 years on who the best team will be. Right now, it has Florida as the best team going for the next 4 years. They're kind of in the Alabama mode right now to me, where they're getting the best recruits. They're performing. They've won, they've made the national championship 3 straight years and won 2. They're projecting to just be unreal. We got Penn State, who looks like right around the top 5 to 10 for the foreseeable future. Same with Nebraska. Georgia looks like they're going to be pretty good maybe for the next 2 years and then fall off a little bit. USC, this is the best USC has done in the whole sim. They have really not been that great, and they're really starting to climb to end this thing. Miami, they started not great. They had a good run in like maybe the early 90s, and they're starting to rebound here. And they made the Natty 3 years ago, and they're going to be in the hunt. Ohio State is actually starting to dip a tiny bit. So that's Tennessee. We have not seen this type of run from Tennessee, so will be interesting. It does seem like we're starting to get some new blood. Oklahoma's fallen off a little bit. A&M looks okay going forward, but not great. Notre Dame was the team of the 80s. They were incredible, but they're falling off, or they're starting to maybe come off back a little bit. And so then the other thing I like to do before the season, guys, is I just like to look at some of the big time rosters and just see. So right now, Bama is down. Bama has just not been good in this sim, and yeah, they're nowhere to be seen. Army just went on a run over the last 15 years where they won 2 or 3 national championships, were in a few more games. They had really good run of quarterbacks. Definitely not quite on that level right now, though. If we keep going down, Florida, let's do a quick overview of their roster. They got Jared Goff, Josh Rosen, and Sam Darnold as their quarterbacks right now. Absolutely crazy. They have a young Miles Sanders with a 99 senior. They got Deebo Samuel, a couple of 96. They got Christian Kirk. Like, they are loaded at receiver. They have OJ Howard, who's just been incredible. They have Derwin James. They have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Corner, they're not great. They had a really nice outside linebacker. They got Devin White in the middle of their defense. Good outside linebacker there. Their D-line is, they got Rashawn Gary. The rest of their D-line is just kind of okay. But this Florida team is absolutely loaded to the gills. Could easily make the national championship again this year. We go down to Georgia. Once again, they are very good. They're top heavy. They got Dalvin Cook, Deshaun Watson, and Calvin Ridley. Those are their 3 studs on offense. They have a good tight end, good left tackle. They are loaded on offense. Not great on defense right now. Not super deep. But you have those 3 studs on offense. They could easily make the national championship just behind those 3. LSU's been pretty down this sim. They've had a few runs where they were okay. They got Leonard Fournette right now, but not much else. Miami, they're starting to pick it up a little bit. They got Landon Dickerson. They got Nick Bosa. Justin Jefferson they just got. They had a nice recruiting class. Jerry Jeudy. Do they have a quarterback? They have this Ernst who's a sophomore. Okay. This guy's legit pretty good right now. They have a couple of sophomores, so he's got some young weapons he can develop with Jefferson and Jeudy. Yeah, I don't know. Miami, I like what Miami's doing. They could be, a little bit of a spur in Florida's heel in the state. Michigan never really did anything this sim. Minnesota's had some good runs, not really there right now. I want to look at this Navy team because, they got a running back, receiver, a couple of running. They really, a lot of talent, very deep. They got Trevon Diggs for a real guy. Do they have a QB? Their QB's just okay. So I probably don't expect anything crazy. Nebraska just had Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and didn't really do anything with them. Nebraska's been maybe the most disappointing team in the sim, just in the fact that they've been a top 5 team almost the whole sim and never took home a national championship. This is not their most talented team, but they still do have a lot of talent. They got Tyreek, Dante Jackson, Derek Brown, Ed Oliver, but yeah, their QB's just okay. They did just get Jedrick Wills, Andrew Thomas, Patrick Queen as freshmen, so they have talent, but they might have missed their shot to win a natty. And I know my Nebraska fans who watch this video are going to be upset because they definitely had many shots where they were the most talented team in the country. That's what Notre Dame's looking like. Ohio State's an interesting team. They got a ton of talent. Fred Warner, Marcus Lattimore, Ronald Jones, Roquan Smith, Clellan Ferrell, Connor Williams, Tremaine Edmonds. But they have an 85 QB. A sophomore could develop, but they have not done a good job of getting that lockdown QB right now, and that could be their Achilles heel. Oklahoma's in a very similar boat in the fact they do have some high-end talent. Cam Robinson, Mark Andrews. They were one of the best teams. Isaiah Simmons. They've been one of the best teams through the whole sim. They're down a little bit right now, and they don't have a QB. They have a 79 overall starter. Them and Ohio State have just missed on the QB position last few years, and it has cost them. Penn State, on the other hand, is starting to hit the up. This is one of the most talented teams in the country right now. They have Saquon Barkley, Terry McLaurin, Jabril Peppers, Minka Fitzpatrick, DJ Moore, loaded, Dwayne Haskins. Like, this team has not missed on quarterback. They have a senior 95 overall. They have Dwayne Haskins who can start for 2 years. So, and then they have a sophomore here as well. So, Haskins is already a sophomore. So for at least the next 3 years, they are going to have one of the better quarterback positions in the country with a ton of other talent. So Penn State could easily win a national championship over the next 2 to 3 years. Tennessee starting to be up a little bit here. De'Aaron Payne, Josh Sweat. They have some talent on their D-line, relatively deep. They're okay at quarterback this year, and this guy could develop into being a pretty good player. So Tennessee, you never know. Texas had a run a few years ago where they were pretty good with Andrew Luck, but yeah, not really anything to be scared of. A&M, them and Notre Dame were the team of the 80s and the early 90s. Then they had a bit of a resurgence maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And right now they're okay. They got DK Metcalf, or maybe 3-4. They had like Odell Beckham. They had some really good players. They got DK right now. Not a lot of auto-generated guys, and they're pretty good, but not elite in my eyes. Now, USC and UCLA. So UCLA was the team, along with Florida and maybe Nebraska, of about the mid-90s to relatively now, but they are on a bit of a downward spiral a little bit in recruiting. They do have a really good running back. They got Kyler Murray. They have a lot of good running backs. But they've been getting a lot of auto-generated guys. They used to get a lot of our stud recruits. They're not really doing that right now. They do have Kyler Murray for the next 2 years, maybe, at least this year, who's one of the best players in the country. Maybe that'll be enough, but they haven't been really killing it at recruiting. USC, this is the best run we've seen from them probably of the whole sim. They maybe made the natty. They made the natty 6-7 years ago. They've been in the hunt a little bit lately. They do have Josh Allen, only a junior. They got Buda Baker, have some nice talent, Jonah Williams. So this team, Najee Harris, this team definitely could make some noise over the next 2 years with Josh Allen at the helm. What are his weapons, right? He's got some really, they're all seniors, but this year he's got some wicked receiving talent, some great tight ends. So I don't know, this USC offense, this could be their year. And that is basically where we're sitting with the teams, guys. So now we are going to sim. What I basically do is I'm going to sim till week 9 or 10. Then we're going to see how everything's looking. We'll kind of go over who's the top 25, who's undefeated. If there's a really good regular season game in the second half of the schedule, we'll hop in and we'll watch that. If not, we'll keep simming till conference championship weekend. Then we'll watch the Natty, and then we'll do a breakdown of how the whole season went. Alrighty, so we're week 10. We're going to look at recruiting once again here. So we're just going to do a quick rundown, see where guys are looking like they might go. So we got Justin Fields looking like Georgia or Clemson. If Georgia got him to take over for Deshaun Watson, that would be absolutely perfect for them. Trevor going to Clemson or Georgia. So one of those, maybe Ohio State. If Ohio State was able to lock him down with the amount of other talent they have, watch out. Will Levis looking like Penn State. Wow, that would be a great pickup for Penn State. They would literally go from Dwayne Haskins to Will Levis. Then we got Joe Milton, who's going to Florida. Florida gets another 5-star QB. Great pickup for them. Damian Pierce looking like Vandy, most likely, maybe Memphis. James Cook going to Miami. Miami gets another playmaker on offense. Wide out, Jamar Chase looking like Nebraska. So they'll go from Tyreek Hill to Jamar Chase. Jalen Waddle going to Penn State, it looks like. I like what Penn State is up to lately. Justin Ross, Georgia Tech or Florida, maybe Tennessee. And Terrace Marshall looking like LSU, Mississippi State. Tight end, Kyle Pitts looking like Pitt or Army, most likely Pitt though. Tackle, Penei Sewell, Nebraska, Florida, or Ohio State. Center, Tyler Linderbaum looking like Iowa or Nebraska, maybe Wisconsin. The end, Azeez Ojulari, another pickup for Miami. Aiden Hutchinson, like I said, Michigan fans, close your eyes, going to Ohio State. Gregory Rousseau looking like Louisville, Florida, UCF, or Miami, UCF. Christian Barrymore looking like Notre Dame, pretty much locked in there. Outside linebacker, Micah Parsons looking like Georgia, Tennessee, maybe Florida. Whoever gets him, that is just such a big pickup. The other one is pretty big too, though, with Quay Walker locked in at Georgia Tech. No middles, go to corner. Asante Samuel Jr. looking like corner for Nebraska or Florida. Patrick Surtain locked in at Oklahoma. Big pickup there. Then for our last corner, we got Tyson Campbell, who's looking like Florida is going to get him. So they might get him and Asante Samuel for Florida. Then lastly, we got Javon Holland, who's looking like USC, maybe Nebraska. So that's where we're looking at recruiting guys. And then we'll check one more time at National Signing Day, see where all those guys ended up. Now we look at top 25 here. So Ohio State undefeated without the QB. That's kind of surprising. Georgia, Florida this week. That is a huge game. That is a game we might have to watch, guys. I don't know if we've seen Deshaun Watson yet. Deshaun Watson, Calvin Ridley, Dalvin Cook against that loaded Florida team. Miami, Penn State's undefeated. They got number 1 Ohio State coming up. Nebraska, they have a tough schedule there. Army, USC's doing well. UCLA. I feel like that Florida-Georgia game would be huge, but we have watched a lot of Florida, and I don't know if people are going to start getting annoyed with that. They could do Penn State, Ohio State. That could be an equally as big game. Well, let's do Penn State, Ohio State, just because I have watched a ton of Florida games, and there's a good chance they could make a natty again here. Deshaun Watson leading the Heisman race right now. We got Kyler Murray in second. There's his stats. And Josh Allen third. So we got some QBs just killing it right now. Now, I usually just like to look at the stats a little bit. So those three are leading the way for passing yards with Jared Goff in fifth. Rushing yards, Joe Mixon in second. Receiving yards, A.J. Brown, I believe, with Stanford in third. Tackle leaders, sack leaders, and then interception leaders. We can also look at some team stats here. See what offenses, probably Georgia, Florida. Yeah, Florida 50 a game right now. Penn State, USC, Georgia, Arkansas. If we look at defense, Miami, Nebraska, Florida, Arkansas State, Minnesota, Georgia Tech. So that is where we're sitting, guys. I'm going to sim to Ohio State, Penn State. That's a really good game. So yeah, we'll go to that. Ooh, Penn State did end up losing. So they dropped down to number 10. Still going to be a really good game. We're definitely going to check this one out. Ohio State is undefeated. So Penn State, number 2 offense in the country. Ohio State's number 6. Penn State's defense is not good, though, and Ohio State's is pretty good. Trevor Lawrence, Penei Sewell, Asante Samuel Jr. visiting Ohio State this week. Marshawn Lattimore is injured. They got Fred Warner, Ronald Jones. Their other running back is hurt, but they got Saquon Barkley and Terry McLaurin. The Ohio State versus Penn State in Ohio. Ohio State trying to stay undefeated, chance to win a national championship this year. Penn State, they win this, they could, I mean, they go undefeated, win the Big Ten championship. You never know, they could easily make it as well still. So gonna sim through the first quarter here. 0-0. Penn State jumps out to a 7-0 lead. Ohio State jumps out to a 7-0 lead. Penn State answers back, though. Here we got a 3rd and 15 for Ohio State. So Penn State's defense isn't great statistically, but this is where you want to be on defense. 3rd and 15. They're gonna rush just 3 here. Give the QB time. They almost break through and they get them on a 3-man rush. They did a great job covering on the back end, and Ohio State's gonna have to punt this one. Oh, what happened there? Oh, somehow they got a penalty and Ohio State kept the ball? I don't know. That was weird. Okay, 4th and inches. Penn State gets stopped. Here's Ohio State driving. They got it 3rd and 4 here. This is much more where Ohio State wants to be on 3rd down than 3rd and 15. 4-man rush for Penn State. Gonna throw that along the sideline, and it is caught. Oh, no, incomplete. He knocked it out at the last second. Great play by Penn State. They're gonna get this ball back right here. They are having trouble getting it going offensively. We got 3rd and 9 here for Penn State once again. They do have the better quarterback. They got Saquon Barkley, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, but free rusher there. You got to break a tackle. Incomplete. That's another knockout on these 3rd downs. Great plays by both defenses. Punt, Devontae. Do they have Devontae Smith? Oh, I forgot about that. There we go. So Ohio State is Devontae Smith as well. But they just don't have the great quarterback, but he's playing decent today. Penn State, trouble getting it going. They got another 3rd and 10 right here. You have DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin. You got to be able to convert some of these. They're going to go screen pass to Saquon. That isn't a bad play call. Oh, he's going to be about a yard short. Saquon, you got to make somebody miss, my guy. Oh, Ohio State, 3rd and 10 here. Can they convert this? Shotgun look. Drops back. Gonna check that down. Yeah, that's nothing there. Nothing there for Ohio State. Okay, I'm gonna sim through the rest of this quarter here. We'll see. Penn State gets stopped. Ohio State gets stopped, but then Penn State answers right there before the half. And we got a 14-all game. Ohio State's 4th down. Punt to Penn State, who has to punt back. Ohio State punts back. Penn State got a bit of a drive going here. They get in 2nd, 23rd and 4 here. This is a good spot to be in. You can use Saquon. You can throw the ball. Let's see what they do. They're going to motion. You're going to do a screen pass, but not to Saquon Barkley, and the D lineman tracks it down and gets the stop. Huge play there. Yeah. Ugh. I mean, if you're going to run your screen pass, I want to go, oh, wow. Penn State just got the ball back and scored, but I want to go to, Saquon on that play. Ohio State needs an answer here. 3rd and 7 out of field goal range. You got to pick up the 1st down here if you're Ohio State. 2-by-2 spread look. QB drops back, blocks their running back guy. Oh, wow, what a play. Interior pass rush for Penn State. Chad Owens gets the sack, and Ohio State's going to have to punt this football. Safety rush by Saquon. They downed it at the 1-yard line and got a safety and the ball. 2nd and 10, though, but 3rd and 10. They're getting some good spots here, but the offense is just dying. This is where, if they were able to get that Trevor Lawrence, something like that at QB, they have so much talent, but they don't have that elite quarterback. They are able to get that underneath. I think that's Devontae Smith. But yeah, that's Devontae Smith, but they're short. They have a star receiver, but they don't have that elite QB. Saquon. Meadows, Saquon. -3 for Saquon. 3rd and 9. Say rode Saquon to the start of that drive. Score a touchdown here. This one might be done. Being, maybe 4 minutes left. You're down 2 scores. They're going to do a draw to, oh, I hate that play call. They do have over 100 yards rushing, but that is wow. Marshawn Lattimore has 10 tackles. You're going to have to punt this ball back now. Ohio State. Driving, 4th and inches. They punt it away down to the 8. Saquon, Terry McLaurin for 8. Saquon for 5. Dropped. 1st and 10. Terry McLaurin for 32. 3rd and 3 here. Maybe field goal range. I don't know how good their kicker is. Field goal puts them up 8. Here we go. Drops back. He's going up over the top. Oh, that was kind of like a back shoulder throw. I don't know if they're in field goal range here. They might go for this, honestly. Let's see. They go for it and pick it up. 2nd and 9, 3rd and 9 here. 3:06. Definitely in field goal range now for Penn State. You got trips to the bottom. That's Saquon Barkley, number 21 in the slot at the bottom of your screen. Drops back, checks that down. That was 2 Saquon. Only going to pick up 5 there. There's going to be 3 minutes left in the game. Possibility to go up 8 here. They do. So 8-point lead. Ohio State needs a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it. 2nd and 10, 3rd and 4, 4th and 4, and they go for it and don't get it. I thought they might punt. 2nd and 5. That's probably gonna do it. Penn State, yeah, that's gonna be Niels, and that is it. I should have watched that 4th down. Sorry, I thought they might punt there. Ohio State goes down. Penn State knocks off the undefeated team, and that's what my worry was with Ohio State. When you play in another elite team, I don't think their QB position is good enough. They have everything else, but Harrell played really well. 311, 2 touchdowns. Barkley had 120 yards rushing and like 80 yards, 97 yards receiving. So Saquon was an absolute superstar. Devontae was really good. He's a true freshman, 100 yards receiving. But yeah, their QB, like he's an 85 overall sophomore. He's fine. Even maybe in 2 years, he could be really good. But that's what I'm saying. If they get Trevor Lawrence, that's where we really could be cooking with gas with Ohio State. All right, so here we are in conference championship weekend. It looks like Army's the #1 team in the country. 12-0, just beat Navy. So they're going to be in the big dance. We got Georgia Tech 1 loss, Ohio State 1 loss, UCLA, Florida all 1 loss. So one of Florida, UCLA, Ohio State, or Georgia Tech is going to play in the national championship against Army, who I don't think this is the best Army team. They're only a 93 overall, but they did make it. We have a bunch of 2-loss teams going down. Penn State ended up with 2 losses. Yeah, so we're just going to sim through some of these games, and then we'll see who's in. So Nebraska, Ohio State. If Ohio State wins, they're the #2 team. If they beat Nebraska, they'll probably be in. Let's see. They do kind of kill Nebraska, so it's a good chance Ohio State's in. We got Florida versus Arkansas. They whoop Arkansas too, so we got 2 big hitters win. We got Georgia Tech, Syracuse. Are they going to whoop Syracuse? They do whip Syracuse. So now it's just a complete mess. None of them lost. I'm guessing just because Ohio State's already at #2, they'll get in. I think Florida's the better team. But yeah, we'll just have to see what the committee decides. So there it is. Kyler Murray wins the Heisman for UCLA. Josh Allen gets 2nd. Saquon Barkley gets 5th. So let's see who's in it. Ohio State does get into the big game versus Army. Ohio State, Army, UCLA ends up 4th. Florida's going to probably be 3. No, they're 5. So there we go. That is what we're looking like. Miami, Florida. Battle of Florida right there in the Sugar Bowl. But we're going to watch Ohio State, Army. Honestly, these are pretty matched teams. Neither team has like incredible. I'd say Ohio State's a little bit better on paper. But, you know, Army, I think this would be, if Army's able to win, they won in 2016 and 2012. So this would be Army's 3rd national championship of the sim if they're able to get it done. Ohio State, better offense, better defense, better players. They do have Christian Wilkins for Army, but I mean, we'll see. Neither team really has injuries. Okay, so we're going to sim through the first quarter here. Ohio State 7-0, 7-3 Army, 14-3 Ohio State. Army is the ball right here though. 3rd and 3. They pick it up for 2nd and 4. 3rd and 4 here for Army. Obviously, they want to punch us in, make it a 4-point game. Field goal. It's all right though. Empty look here for Army. Directing traffic back there. He drops back, slides, pressure, and he goes down to that Ohio State front. Only ends up losing 3 yards though, so still like a relatively easy field goal try. They go for it on 4th down and they get stopped, and then Hardy to pace for a 74-yard touchdown, and Ohio State jumps out to a big lead here. Army's down to 3rd and 7. And if Ohio State's able to win this will tie, Woody Hayes will tie Urban Meyer for 6 national championships in the sim. And then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons left to see if one of them jumps out in front of the other. Army is able to pick up that first down there. If one of them wins 7 natties, I mean, Saban did it in about half of the time, but 5 yards. Army's got a decent drive, 3rd and 3. They pick it up, and there's a touchdown for Army. And then Ohio State gets picked off, and Army has it right here to go down maybe 4. So, I mean, I didn't want to get ahead of myself. I wasn't saying Ohio State won. I was just saying, hey, if they do win, they will tie Florida. QB drops back, and check that down. Oh, that's a massive hit. Was that Marshawn Lattimore in the flat? No, that was a linebacker. Wow. Decleated there. Oh, and they go for it again. Wow, they go for it on 4th down like crazy, people. 3rd and 10 here for Ohio State. Gonna have to punt. Army football again. 3rd and 10. They pick it up on a big gain. 1st and 10 again, and they score a touchdown, and now they're down 4. Ohio State needs to get something going on offense. And once again, this is my worry with Ohio State. They don't have that quarterback who puts fear into your heart. So yeah, we'll see. Gonna hand this off, and guy goes down. Ronald Jones. So 3 minutes or 30 seconds left in the half. Army, I'm sure. Oh, fumble recovered. Ohio State, and then they get 11-yard gain, 1 yard, 4 yard. Are they going to be able to kick a field goal here? They have 1 second left. Field goal, good. Okay, so they take a 7-point lead going into half. And they get the ball. They punt it here. Army punts. Ohio State driving. 2nd and 10, 3rd and 6 here. Up 7 points over Army. Let's see what they can do. Going to set up a screen. Devontae Smith. He's going to be short. So probably going to kick another field goal here. Field goal, good. They're up 10. Army picked off by Fred Warner. And they punch it in. So now, Army, you desperately need something here. You're at 3rd and 14. Ohio State on the doorstep of their 6th national championship. QB running QB draw. You actually got a bit of room there. Going to be well short, though. I don't know. Army gets super aggressive, so maybe they're going to go for it. They punt it. Ohio State punts it right back. Army... 2nd and 10, 3rd and 5 here. Gonna go empty here. Ohio State up 2 scores. Drops back. Fires it underneath. That's gonna be a first down. Nice completion. 300 yards now with 12 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Army needs to punch this one in. They get 13. 3-yard rush. 5-yard penalty, and then a touchdown. So 34-24. A fumble recovered inside Ohio State's 20. Are they going to go for this? They're going to go for this on 4th and 3. They're down 10. I like this aggressiveness. Yeah, go score a touchdown. Don't kick 3. Well, let's see. 4th and 3. 6:30 left. Army drops back. Got a screen pass set up. They drop it in there, but Ohio State. Oh, he breaks a tackle, but he ends up a yard short. It looked like he was going to be able to fall into the end zone there, but he's a yard short. Ohio State football, and they could really close this out right here. 3rd and 7. You know, you're up 10. If you can even get a field goal here, you know, eat up another 2 minutes, it's probably over. But you got to get this first down first. They're going to try their own screen pass. A D-line. Ronald Jones. He's about a yard short. 4th and inches. You basically got to punt this if you're Ohio State as well. They are going to punt it. So Army still has life. Really good punt. 4th and 4. They have to punt. Now, Ohio State 4th and 5. They go for it. Okay, so there's 3 minutes left. Army's down 10. They get huge plays down to the 2-yard line. Punch this in. You're down 3 with 2:40 left. You have all your timeouts if you're Army. Drops back. Slides. Checks that down. Nice break up there for Ohio State. 2-yard rush. So Army punches it, and now they're down 3. Ohio State -3. Throwaway. It is 3rd and 13. Ohio State's 3 of 12 on 3rd down. It is go time. Oh my god. Army still has all 3 timeouts. Check that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Army is about to get the ball with a chance to go win this thing right here. right now. 1:45 left. You have 2 timeouts. They hit for 21, throwaway, 3rd and 10, 4th and 3. Here is the ball game. Out of field goal range. It is now or never. 108. Why are they letting the clock run down? The clock management in this game can be insane sometimes. Just snap the ball. You want to leave yourself a minute. Here it is. Natty on the line. Here it is. Army drops back. No, he got him in the flats. He does stay in bounds, and Rawls picks it up. Wow, they call a timeout there as well. Hits him for 8, and they get a touchdown. What? How does it a 1-yarder? I don't know how they got down to the 1-yard line, but they score, and they're now up 4 with 22 seconds left. Incomplete. Yeah, so this is it. This is Hail Mary time for Ohio State. Army on the cusp of winning their 3rd national championship. Their 2nd in 3 years. They won in 2016. So here it is. This is it for Ohio State. Oh, 2-1. They call a timeout. Okay, so this is it for Ohio State. That was low-key kind of nice. Now you need about 4. You might be able to get the end zone here. Let's see. If they get a walk-off freaking Hail Mary. Gotta let it. Oh my God, they got 3. They had 3 receivers with 1 Army DB, but that is it. Army gets it done and takes this home. Wow. Army versus Ohio State. So Army with their 3rd national championship. Ohio State was on the cusp of winning their 6th, but they let it slip away. They had a couple of big leads in that game and just couldn't. That is what I said. I said that from the start of the season with Ohio State. I don't think their quarterback's good enough in those crunch time games to get it done. And we were proven right. Ohio State desperately needs, Fields, Trevor Lawrence here. White played really well. Their QB honestly wasn't amazing either. Rawls, it's doing this thing where it loses. Levine was great receiving for them. Ohio State, Pace was kind of their leader. Rushing could not get the run game going that well. Passing, Hardy honestly played fine, but he wasn't that impact player in crunch time against Penn State or against Army in the 2 games we watched. Okay, so now we're just going to wrap up the season. So, final top 25. Army, obviously, first. Then Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, UCLA, Vandy, Florida, Georgia Tech, Miami. Heisman, we looked at. All-Americans. So, we got Jared Goff, wrapped up his 3-year run. Did make 2 national championships. Freaking 125 touchdowns and 14 picks. Saquon, hopefully he's back for 1 more year. Won the Doak this year, 1,400 yards plus 182 yards receiving. Joe Mixon wraps up his career. 3 of 4 years had around 1,500 yards, almost broke 1,000 yards each season. Another really big year for Debo. Connor Williams, Clelin Ferrell at Ohio State. Fred Warner at Ohio State won the Butkus this year as well. They had another D tackle. Marshawn Lattimore at Ohio State, 3 picks. Derwin James at Florida, all first teamers. Now, second team, we got Kyler, who won the Heisman. Had a really nice year this year. Won 4 awards. 3,300 yards. Also rushed for 1,000. Dalvin Cook, 1,200 yards rushing. Isaiah Wynn on defense. Looks like mostly auto-generated. Dante Jackson at Nebraska had 5 picks this year. Freshman Kenny Pickett at Michigan. Nice year for him. DeAndre Swift at Bowling Green. Devontae Smith had 703. CeeDee Lamb at Arkansas, 614. Jedrick Wills at Nebraska. Patrick Queen at Nebraska. Dylan Moses at Miami. AJ Terrell at USC. Jerry Jeudy as a returner for Miami. So Jared Goff gets 2nd in the country in passing. Josh Allen finished 4th. Joe Mixon 3rd in rushing. Receiving, Debo led the country in receiving yards. There's tackles. There's sacks. There's interceptions. Team stats. Points per game. Florida, USC, Penn State, UCLA. If we go defense, it was UCF, Troy, Nebraska, Miami of Ohio, Florida, Texas. And the last thing we do here is we just look at some of our players. So, we get an idea on how everybody did this year, all our big time guys. So QB, we already looked at Goff. Deshaun wraps up his career as a 4-year starter. A really nice career. There was his rushing yards as well. Never got it done at Georgia, but was really good. Josh Allen, hopefully him and Kyler are both back next year. Josh Rosen's going to be the starter at Florida next year. Joe Burrow at Ohio. Don't really throw the ball much there. Lamar Jackson at ECU, haven't really seen much of him. That's the only problem when they go to the small schools. We don't really ever see them much. Running back, Dalvin Cook, nice year we looked at. Leonard Fournette, 703 this year. We looked at Saquon, we looked at Mixon. Wide receivers, we looked at Debo. Tyreek, 1,000 yards in his senior year. Terry McLaurin, 795. Calvin Ridley, 86 yards. Oh, he got hurt in the first game of the year. Out for the year. Wow, that's tough. OJ Howard, down. He had a really good sophomore year. Kind of went down each year. Mark Andrews, just okay stats. He ends. Nick Bosa, only a sophomore at Miami. Right end, Clelin Ferrell. He was an All-American this year. Josh Sweat at Tennessee, 4.5 sacks. D tackle, Christian Wilkins at Army, won the national championship. De'Aaron Payne, also got Derek Brown. Middle, Fred Warner won the Butkus this year. Roquan, him and Roquan and linebacker for them is crazy. Corner, they have Marshawn Lattimore as well. Yeah, you see, they did not have that QB this year. They had so much talent everywhere else. Free safety, Buddha. Minka Fitzpatrick should be back at Penn State. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at Florida, only a sophomore. Strong safety, Derwin James we looked at. We got Jabril Peppers. So yeah, that is our players. Now we're going to sim to National Signing Day here. Okay, signing day. QB, Justin Fields ends up at Georgia. Trevor goes to Ohio State. Oh my goodness, what a pickup. What did I say? They were QB away and they get the best QB. Will Levis goes to Penn State and then Joe Milton goes to Florida. Running back, Dameon Pierce, Vandy. James Cook goes to Miami. Wide receiver, Jamar Chase goes to Nebraska. Jalen Waddle, Penn State. Justin Ross, Tennessee. And Terrace Marshall ends up at LSU. Pitt, I think will end up with Pitts. Ohio State comes out of nowhere. It looked like Pitt had him on lock. They get him and Trevor Lawrence, and they already have Devontae Smith at receiver. Wow. Penei Sewell ends up at Florida. Center, Linderbaum, Iowa. Azeez Ojulari ends up at Miami. Aiden Hutchinson ends up at Ohio State. Gregory Rousseau, Florida State. Barrymore goes to Iowa. Micah goes to Georgia. Quay Walker, Georgia Tech. Corners, Asante, Penn State. Patrick Surtain, Oklahoma. Tyson Campbell ends up at Florida. And then last we got Javon Holland ends up at Nebraska. Wow, Ohio State had a class, guys. Penn State, #1 class. They got Waddle and Asante were kind of their big guys. And Will Levis. Florida, Penei Sewell, Joe Milton were kind of, Tyson Campbell. Nebraska 4. They got Holland and Jamar Chase. Where was Ohio? Ohio State must just not sign many guys. Yeah, Ohio State only signed 19, but Trevor Lawrence, Aiden Hutchinson, Kyle Pitts. That's wild. Well, 13th class, but they had him at wicked positions. Okay, now we're just going to sim to the start of the 2019 season. We're just going to look at our coaches, and then I'll make the next recruiting class, and we'll get into the 2019 season. Okay, coach info. Barry Alvarez now at Stanford. Bobby Bowden back at Florida State. I swear this is like his 4th time there. Texas OC, Pete Carroll goes to UTSA. Jim Harbaugh staying. Woody Hayes obviously safe. Lou Holtz, DC at Army. Mississippi State, Don James safe for now. Jimmy Johnson, yeah, back. Okay, so he's the head coach at Michigan. That'd be kind of cool if he did something there at Michigan to end the sim. Chip Kelly, Nevada. Urban, safe at Florida. Robert Nealon, safe at Tennessee. Ed Orgeron, already on the hot seat at LSU. Nebraska, Tom Osborne, safe. Joe Pa, safe at Miami. Gary Patterson, Nick Saban at Duke. Bo Schembechler, Howard Schnellenberger, all safe. Kirby, safe. Spurrier, Michigan State, safe. Dabo Sweeney at Army. Barry Switzer, safe at SMU. Willingham, safe for now as the DC. So that is our coaches, guys. Okay, I'm going to make the next recruiting class and we'll get into it. Alrighty, guys. 2019 2019 season. We are getting in the home stretch of this sim. Recruiting class is made. This is another really, good one. This is a lot of guys who've been drafted in the last just, few years, even one or two that are going to get drafted this draft, maybe just one. But yeah, ton of really good players. So let's get into it. Oh no, actually there's at least two that'll be this year. So we got 3 quarterbacks right now. We got first Spencer Rattler. Now he's actually one of the #1 recruits in the country in this recruiting class. Ended up going to Oklahoma, transferring to South Carolina. So he's from Phoenix. He's looking at Texas, Stanford, UCLA, USC, Oklahoma. Then we got Sam Howell. Now Howell was at North Carolina. He's from the state of North Carolina. Started for the Commanders last year in the NFL. He's looking at USC, UCLA, Texas, Stanford, OU. So really not staying around at North Carolina at all. And then the last one is kind of, this is the first time I've added him to one of these sims, is actually going to be Jaden Daniels. Now, Heisman winner, started at Arizona State, just transferred to LSU. Possible top 3 pick in the NFL draft this year. Really good athlete, kind of a small, slender build, but pretty tall, good arm, really good, fast runner, all that stuff. So he's looking at LSU, Oklahoma, A&M, Florida State. Move down to running back, and we just got one, but he's very good. It is, Breece Hall. So he's from Kansas. He played at Iowa State. 2nd round pick by the Jets, has been really good in the NFL. He's looking at Ohio State, Texas, UCLA, Penn State, Nebraska. We go to receivers. We got 4 nice ones. So first we have Drake London. He's from Cali. He went to USC. Top 10 pick by Atlanta. He's looking at Florida, USC, Georgia, Nebraska, Army. We got Jamison Williams. Top 15 pick by the Lions, started at Ohio State, moved to Alabama, was on their last national title appearance team where they lost to Georgia. He's looking at Stanford, Ohio State, USC, Minnesota, Florida. We got Garrett Wilson. Now, Garrett Wilson, one of the best receivers in the NFL right now, playing for the Jets, played at Ohio State. He's looking at UCLA, Nebraska, Ohio State, Florida, and A&M. And the last one is George Pickens. He was on Georgia, injured his senior year, junior year. His last year, he got injured the year they went to the national championship, their first one, and he's from Alabama, got drafted by the Steelers in the 2nd round. He's looking at Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, Florida, Nebraska. Go to tight end. We got one. It is Luke Musgrave. Just drafted last year. Nice rookie year as well in the NFL. He's looking at USC, UCLA, Texas, Washington, Stanford. If we go to offensive tackles, we got 3 of them. First is Charles Cross. He went to Mississippi State, was a top 10, 15 pick by the Seahawks in the NFL draft. He's looking at Tennessee, Ohio State, Florida, Georgia. We have Evan Neal, top 10 pick by the Giants, from Florida, but he actually played at Alabama. He's looking at Oklahoma, USC, UCLA, Texas, Cal. And then lastly, we have Darnell Wright. Now, he was just picked by the Bears last year in the top 10, 15. He went to Tennessee. He's looking at Ohio State, Army, Florida, Nebraska, A&M. We have no guards or centers. If we go D-ends, we got 2. First, Trayvon Walker was the first overall pick in the NFL draft from Georgia, played for Georgia, got drafted by Jacksonville. He's looking at USC, Nebraska, Ohio State, Penn State, Oklahoma. Then we got Kayvon Thibodeau, who was one of the top recruits in the class. He ended up playing at Oregon, top 10 pick by the Giants. He's looking at Texas, Arizona, USC, Washington. No D tackles. Oh, we have 1 D tackle in this class. It is going to be Mozzie Smith. Now, he's from Michigan, played for the Wolverines, got drafted by the Cowboys in the 2nd round last year. He's looking at Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Army. Moving on to outside linebackers, we got 1 outside. It is Nolan Smith. Once again, a really high recruit. Went to Georgia. From Georgia on those natty teams. He got drafted by the Eagles this past year. He's looking at Georgia, Miami, Florida, Ohio State, Georgia Tech. Moved to middle linebacker, we got 2. First, Christian Harris. He's from Louisiana. He played at Alabama. He's looking at Ohio State, USC, Oklahoma, UCLA, Texas. Then we got Nakobe Dean, who is also on those Georgia teams. You're going to see quite a few Bulldogs over the next few years. He's looking at FAU, Alabama, Toledo, Ball State, Utah. Moving on to corner, we got 3 really good ones. First, Sauce Gardner from Detroit, Michigan, played at Cincinnati, maybe the best corner in the NFL right now for the Jets. He's looking at USC, Oklahoma, UCLA, Nebraska, Ohio State. We got Derek Stingley, who was actually picked 1 pick ahead, I believe, of Sauce in the draft. He's at LSU, drafted by the Texans. He's looking at Texas, UCLA, Oklahoma, USC. And then the other corner is Trent McDuffie from Cali, played at Washington, got drafted by the Chiefs, and was actually a first-team All-Pro this year as a nickelback. He's looking at Florida, Nebraska, Ohio State, Army. Then we move on to safeties. We got a few. We got two. We got Daxton Hill, who played at Michigan, got drafted by Cincinnati, I believe. He's looking at Stanford, Texas, UCLA, Ohio State. Then last but not least, we got Kyle Hamilton, who got drafted by the Ravens out of Notre Dame, top 15 pick in the NFL draft, already one of the best young safeties in the NFL. He's looking at Georgia, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Florida, Vandy. So that is the recruiting class, guys. Once again, another really nice class. We are going to sim to the start of the season now. Okay, so looking at the rosters here. So Bama, really nothing going on. Army, who won the Natty last year, Christian Wilkins, good team this year. I'd be shocked if they made it again. This will not be the most talented team in the country, that's for sure. They are still good, but you go down to Florida, this team, they have freaking 599s. Miles Sanders, Derwin James, Josh Rosen, Christian Kirk, and Sean Tate. They also have Sam Darnold, who will start from next year. Another 97 receiver. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Rashawn Gary, Devin White. I mean, this team is so talented. Penei Sewell, young guy. Joe Milton, Tyson Campbell. An insane amount of talent over the next, 2-3 years for them still. Move on to Georgia. They got Dalvin Cook still. Not crazy talented. They did just get Justin Fields, but Fields actually not going to start till next year, but he'll step in, be a 3-year starter for the Dogs. Keep going down. LSU doesn't have much going on. Miami, I like what Miami's been doing the last few years. Landon Dickerson, Nick Bosa, Justin Jefferson, Jerry Jeudy, Dylan Moses, Jeff Okudah. Yeah, Miami is really, James Cook really starting to get some talent in the door. They have a 95. So the next 2 years, they are loaded at quarterback. I mean, even by the third year, this sophomore could be pretty good if they don't get a big-time recruit. Really nice at running back. Really nice at receiver with Jeudy and Jefferson and two other guys in the mix there too. So yeah, we could see Miami definitely be on the doorstep of winning a natty with that team. Michigan, decent, nothing crazy. Nebraska, really good this year actually. Dante Jackson, Derek Brown, Denzel Ward, Ed Oliver, bunch of talent all the way down. Jedrick Wills and Andrew Thomas, Patrick Queen, Jamar Chase, Javon Holland. So yeah, they have a 95 senior quarterback, but okay, so they'll probably start the sophomore unless they get a recruit in. Not great at running back. Really, good, solid at receiver. Yeah, no, this Nebraska team looks really good. Keep going down. Notre Dame looks fine. Ohio State, this team's got it right now. Roquan, Clellan Ferrell, Tremaine Edmonds, Connor Williams, Devontae Smith. Is he only a sophomore too? Only a sophomore. Chase Young, they just got Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Pitts also. So they're going to start this Hardy actually, it looks like, for 2 years. And then Trev will take over. So hopefully, I hope Trevor, did they redshirt him? They didn't redshirt him, so he might only start for them for 2 years. But yeah, this team's built to definitely have a chance to win a natty. They just lost last year, definitely going to be on the doorstep again. Isaiah Simmons, Byron Murphy for Oklahoma. They actually had a nice recruiting class. Patrick Surtain. Still don't think they've gotten a QB though. So they have a senior who's an 84, a couple of juniors, and they have no one else even on the roster. So they really got to get the QB position figured out. Penn State, another one of these teams, they could easily win a natty this year. Saquon, Ncaa. I actually forgot to we'll look at the top 25 and stuff after. Usually I do that first. But DJ Moore, Dwayne Haskins going to be at QB now for 2 years. Keep going down. Yeah, they have a lot of talent. Jalen Waddle they just brought in. Yeah. Oh, and they brought in Will Levis, who will probably start in 2 years. Saquon, yeah, this team loaded at the skill positions. DJ Moore and Jalen Waddle is their top 2 receivers. So Penn State is looking up. Tennessee, De'Aaron Payne, Josh Sweat on the D-line. They have some QBs. They have T. Higgins, not bad for Tennessee. Texas, just kind of okay. Brian Burns, I don't know, nothing crazy. Who's their QB? 79 QB. Yeah, they have no shot. Texas A&M, DK. Once again, they're an okay team. Nothing crazy, though. UCLA, do they have Kyler? Still Kyler back. He won the Heisman last year. but not super deep in behind them. USC, Josh Allen is back. They have Joe Stewart, Jonah Williams, Najee Harris, QB. They did, I think, lose. They're like decent. It's going to have to be the Josh Allen show a little bit. I think they lost a lot of their receivers. Yeah, they have a good senior. They lost their tight ends. They don't have the pass catchers that they had last year. They look decent though. And yeah, those are kind of our big teams right now. I forgot to look at the top 25 first though. So preseason polls, Penn State, Ohio State, Florida, all 3 A pluses. Then USC A minus, Army, Miami A plus, Georgia, Texas, UCLA all look decent. Nebraska looks really good. Iowa, Notre Dame, Tennessee looks good, which we looked at. Michigan looks okay. Those are kind of the big teams. We looked at basically all those rosters. Heisman watch, Josh Allen and Kyler, 1-2, fighting for it in the middle of Los Angeles. Preseason All-Americans, we got Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, Michael Pittman, all there. Connor Williams, Landon Dickerson, Dante Jackson, all looking good. Second team, Kyler. Not as much skill positions, a lot of auto-generated. Clelin Ferrell. Yeah, Derwin James. He's been an All-American a ton for the Gators. And Terry, no, this is a different McLaurin. I was going to say Terry McLaurin, but it's different. Okay, so that is it. We're going to sim till week 10 and we'll see where we are at. Alrighty, so here we are, week 10. Let's take a look at this recruiting first. So Spencer Rattler stays true to form in Oklahoma. I said they need to nail down the QB position. They finally get a good one and they get Sam Howell. So now all of a sudden they got 2. I mean, that's good for them. Then we'll see with Jaden Daniels. He ends up at Texas A&M. That's a nice pickup for them. Running back Breece Hall goes to Ohio State. Rich get richer. For receivers, Drake London looking like USC, Nevada. Lots of teams in the running for him still. 4. Jamison Williams, USC or Florida. So they're fighting over 2 receivers there. Garrett Wilson looks like most likely Nebraska, playing with Jamar Chase. They need a QB, I feel like, though. George Pickens might go to Florida, so Florida really needs to land one of those guys. Musgraves looking like Stanford, Texas. Tackles, we got Charles Cross looking like Notre Dame, Tennessee, Ohio State. Evan Neal locked in at Oklahoma, so that's their 3rd big pickup. And then Darnell Wright looking like Ohio State or Army. DNs, Trayvon Walker looking like Ohio State or Penn State. Thibodeau is going to go to Texas. D-tackle Mozzie Smith is going to Notre Dame or Michigan, so staying up in that Northeast kind of. Outside linebacker Nolan Smith going to Miami. That's their first dip into the big 5 stars. Christian Harris looking like Texas, Ohio State, USC. Nakobe Dean, Utah, most likely. Cornerback, Sauce looking like Nebraska, Ohio State, Toledo. Derek Stingley already locked in at Nebraska. If they got freaking Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley, and they might get Trent McDuffie. So I don't know what's going on in Nebraska, but they might get some nasty corners. Daxton Hill might go there as well, or Ohio State. And then Kyle Hamilton, Georgia, or Vandy, most likely. So that's where we're sitting with recruiting. Now, let's look at the top 25 here. So Penn State sitting at 7-0 right now. Ohio State 7-0. Notre Dame 8-0. UCLA, Nebraska. Miami has a loss. Florida has 2 losses. With that stacked of a team, they lost to Vandy and Arkansas. Oh, man. Nebraska undefeated. They play Penn State this week. That's a huge game. Heisman, J.R. Newton leading the way. None of all auto-generated guys. So Kyler or Josh not really in the running right now. Josh Rosen leading the country in passing yards. There's rushing, receiving. Christian Kirk, Jamar Chase, Justin Ross, 2 through 4. There's tackles, there's sacks, and there's interceptions. Dante Jackson has 6 picks right now. If we look at points per game, 47 per game right now for Penn State leading the way. Defensively, UCF, Rutgers, Utah, Notre Dame. So Notre Dame, yeah, good year for them. Okay, conference championship weekend. Let's see what we got. Nebraska undefeated. They have a rematch versus Penn State. Notre Dame undefeated playing Miami. Bowling Green, they're an 84 overall. I really hope we don't get them. Tennessee, Miami. So we have some way different teams than usual. This Miami Notre Dame game is massive. Florida's out of it, UCF, but really this Nebraska team, they've still never won a natty. They have maybe the third most wins of the sim. If they lose this Penn State game after beating them earlier in the year, oh my goodness, let's see. Nebraska beats Penn State. They're in the national championship. I don't even know if they've made one. I got to go back and look. If they have, it's like one maybe. Okay, they made it in 1991. Unless I'm just skimming really quick. I think they've only made one in 1991. Maybe one other game I might have missed. Just looking at my notes really quickly. But they are finally back. A chance to win their first championship. I would like them to play the winner of this Miami-Notre Dame game. But I feel like if Notre Dame loses, we might get Bowling Green, which would not be the best. But so I'm almost cheering for Notre Dame, even though they're not like the best team. But Miami gets the win. They beat Notre Dame by 3. Tennessee has one loss. What are they going to do versus Mississippi State? They whoop Mississippi State. So I don't even know. Bowling Green, are they going to, if they beat Eastern, they might just be in. Bowling Green beats Eastern Washington. So I really hope Bowling Green's not in. A Miami-Nebraska game would be sick. But I feel like it's going to be Bowling Green now. So Gray wins the Heisman. Yeah, none of our guys in the top 5 there. All auto gens. So it is going to be Bowling Green, Nebraska. There it is. So 1 versus 2. Who ended up getting second? Miami got 3rd. Tennessee 4th. Notre Dame 5th. I just missed them, but there it is, guys. That is our matchup. Oh yeah, sorry. So Miami was one spot away. Bowling Green. I mean, if Nebraska doesn't win this, guys, if they lose this game to Bowling Green and still don't have a natty, I know I'm gonna hear it from Nebraska fans in the comments, like, what is going on to my Huskers? But 4th on offense, 7th on defense. Bowling Green but has a good offense, but obviously they're playing in the MAC. So Ed Oliver, Derek Brown, Jedrick Wills. They have DeAndre Swift, so he's kind of their superstar player, even though they don't really give him the ball a ton. Not really much for injuries as well. So Nebraska, if they blow this against Bowling Green, my goodness, it will be rough. Okay, we're going to go through the first quarter here. Nebraska 7-0. Nebraska 14-0 and 14-7. Okay, let's watch maybe on this drive. Here's a 3rd and 2. Watch from here. I have a feeling this is going to be a blowout, so we'll try to watch a little bit of the second quarter here. Nebraska 3rd and 2. See if they can convert this. Gonna hand this off up the middle. Get about 8 yards on the play. They have 95 yards rushing, just getting into the second quarter here for Nebraska, and they're gonna run hurry up here. Nebraska on the doorstep. QB drops back. They're going to go end zone, throw that out. On the doorstep of capturing. This is like our 39th season or something. Trying to win their first natty. 3rd and 5K. They get stuffed there. Field goal good. Let's see if Bowling Green. No, they're going to punt here. Nebraska 4th and 5. They're going to punt. Let's see Bowling Green. DeAndre Swift for 17. 2nd and 12. 3rd and 8. Nebraska's got such a good secondary right now. Dante Jackson, Javon Holland. They have another sick corner, like a real guy. Drops back. Time pressure. Ooh, oh my goodness. That's a huge hit over the middle of the field. Who's 54? I feel like he's a good linebacker. Just blew someone up over the middle. Oh, that's Patrick Queen is their middle linebacker, 54, flying around. Okay, Nebraska back up. 1st and 10, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 3, 1st and 10, 1st and 10, 1st and 10, 2nd and 5. 5 yard, and there's a touchdown. So 24-7. Bowling Green football, 3rd and 1, 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10 for Bowling Green here. Kind of need a touchdown on this game. Try to drive, try to be down 10 at half here. QB drops back, front 4, pass rush, and he's going down. Nothing open down the field. You know, they have such a good back of their defense with Queen and all those defensive backs. 247 to 136 for yards. Nebraska has a chance to go up huge here before the half. 2nd and 13, 3rd and 4. They pick it up. 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10 here. So 24-7. Still kind of in their wishbone here. probably going to pass. Go to Jamar. Let's see Jamar Chase do something. Drops back. They're bringing a blitz. They're going to check that down. It's actually a nice stop for Bowling Green there. Shaw's a little frustrated. Punt that away. Bowling Green can't get nothing going. We got half K. I'm just going to go through to the fourth quarter. And if it's close, we maybe will watch a little bit. 31-7. 31-13. Okay, they're hitting some big plays. We got to slow this down. Bowling Green here, 3rd and 3, down 21. Probably not going to happen, but you never know. 19, actually, not 21, down 19. Yeah, 3rd and 3 here. Need a touchdown. They're going to check that down. That's a completion. There you go. 289 yards passing. That is not a bad job throwing the ball at all on this talented of a defense. DeAndre Swift, fumble recovered by Nebraska. That might do it just right there. Now they're just running the ball. 1st and 10, 2nd and 2, 3rd and 7. We'll watch one more play and then we'll probably just super sim this. Patrick Queen, 6 tackles. Nebraska on the doorstep. So close. Drops back. They're going to go end zone here. Oh, they actually had him, but he underthrew him and Bowling Green picks him off. They got a little bit of life down now here, but probably a little too little, a little too late. Next change of possession. Bowling Green gets stopped. Nebraska football. We are just going to super sim here. So 41-19, and that is it. Nebraska, probably like I said, the team with the 3rd most wins in the sim, and they finally get it done. Tom Osborne wins his first natty of the sim. That, talk about a monkey off your back for the Cornhuskers. So many years of being a top 5 team, and they've only made 2 games, and they've been a top 5 team basically the entire sim. They've had obviously some years where they're maybe 10 or whatever, but like probably the 3rd best team of the sim when you don't include natties. Gray honestly played pretty good for Bowling Green. DeAndre Swift really couldn't get it going that much. He did have 25 yards. Harper was their big time receiver. Rushing, just like a ton of guys getting work. And Shaw gets it done, has a nice day. That is it. Nebraska, rip the monkey off. They're not going to go over in this sim. They had some just great teams over the years. I'm glad they were able to get one. Here we are, end of the season, Nebraska. Monkey, finally. Miami, I would really like to see Miami in that game. Tennessee, best season for Tennessee and Notre Dame in forever. Florida, UCF, Texas, Ohio State, Army, Penn State. Penn State, little disappointing this year. Look at our All-Americans. Gray for Bowling Green. Saquon wraps up his senior year. Back-to-back Doak Walkers. Back-to-back really nice years. 400 yards receiving this year as well. Wow. Okay, Jamar was only a freshman. Oh my goodness. Jamar Chase, 1478 is a true freshman for Nebraska, but I don't know if they have a QB next year. DJ Moore, 1,300 yards as a junior. Connor Williams, Landon Dickerson, going on defense, a lot of auto-generated. Dylan Moses for Miami. Dante Jackson, friggin' 23 interceptions. Wow. Wow. 5 defensive touchdowns. Okay, we got to add him to our list. That is one of the best careers we've ever seen. Like, that is actually crazy how good he was for Nebraska. Minka Fitzpatrick for Penn State, senior year, he had 13 picks. Yeah, that's really good. Javon Holland as a freshman, 4 picks, first team All-American. Damn. Kyler Murray, 2nd team All-American this year. Actually, maybe had a better year statistically than last year, but didn't win any hardware. Christian Kirk for Florida, 1,500 yards. Justin Ross as a freshman, 1,350. Holy crap. Jedrick Wills, and that's kind of it there. A lot of auto-generated. Freshman Norwood. Damian Pierce for Vandy, 1,000 yards. Obviously, Jamar and Justin Ross. Panay Sewell. Linderbaum for Iowa. Micah Parsons for Georgia. 6.5 sacks, 2 picks, 5 pass deflections. Nice year for him. Javon Holland, who we looked at. Oh, no, this is a different Holland. Brian Holland. But Javon Holland is on there. There we go. That's freshman. So Josh Rosen led the country in passing. Kyler second. Rushing, that's the list. Receiving, Christian Kirk, Jamar Chase, Justin Ross. Tackle leaders, sack leaders, interceptions. Dante led the country in interceptions. Team stats here. Points per game, Miami, Nebraska, Penn State, Florida, UCF. Defensively for points, it was Iowa, UCF, Florida, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Nebraska. So Nebraska, really good team this year. Now we're just going to look at some players here. So QB Josh Rosen wraps up, his senior year. 1 year as the starter. Really nice year for Florida. Kyler Murray, we already looked at. Really nice career. Josh Allen, he got hurt this year. Didn't really have it this year in his senior year for USC. Sam Darnold basically hasn't played yet, but he is going to be the starter there next year. Jalen Hurts for BYU got hurt this year. He actually had a nice sophomore year. Justin Herbert at Oregon State, we have not even been keeping up with him. He hasn't honestly been that good yet. So that's where we're sitting. Running back, Miles Sanders, only a junior. He barely got any run this year, though. Dalvin Cook wraps up his career. Not a great year this year and didn't really even... Oh, yeah, he did get hurt. Saquon, really nice senior year. Damian Harris for Kentucky, never broke 1,000 yards. Wideouts. Tate, 1,000. We saw Christian Kirk, DJ Moore, 1,300. AJ Brown at Stanford, back-to-back 1,000s. DK, 993. Michael Pittman at Cal, 1,000, 3 straight years. Justin Jefferson, only 654. Tight ends, don't really have a big-time tight end right now. Left end, Nick Bosa, still only a junior. Only 4.5 sacks so far, though. Brian Burns, only 8 sacks. Right end, Clellan Ferrell had 6.5 this year and 19 overall. Rashawn Gary, 14 so far. Josh Sweat, 17 sacks in his 4 years. D tackle, we got De'Aaron Payne at Tennessee. Christian Wilkins at Army. Derek Brown at Nebraska, who's actually going to be back next year. Jeffrey Simmons, right there. Quinnen Williams for Texas. Ed Oliver at Nebraska as well. Nebraska, man, they're returning some guys too. Nothing really at left outside. Middle, Roquan going to be done at Ohio State. There's his stats. Devin White, still 1 more year for Florida. Isaiah Simmons at Oklahoma, still going to be back for another year if he returns. Tremaine Edmonds, done at Ohio State. Dylan Moses, only a sophomore for Miami. There's his stats. Cornerback, Dante Jackson, we looked at. Oh, and their other one was Denzel Ward. They had Denzel Ward and Dante Jackson, but Dante was putting up the stats for sure. Trevon Diggs, there's what he's done so far. Free safety, Fitzpatrick, we already looked at, is gone. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will be the best free safety in the country if he returns next year. Strong safety, Derwin James is gone. There's his stats over his career, and that is where we're sitting. Okay, now we're going to go to National Signing Day and then look at our coaches. Okay, National Signing Day. Let's take a look. QB, we already looked at them all. Oklahoma, and then Jaden is going to A&M. Running back, Brees to Ohio State. We didn't know any of the receivers, so Drake London going to Florida. Jamison going to Florida. Garrett Wilson going to Nebraska. And Pickens, holy crap, Florida. George Pickens, Drake London, and Jamison Williams in one class. Holy, Garrett Wilson, though, Nebraska. Tight end, Musgraves going to Stanford. Cross going to Ohio State. Evan Neal going to Oklahoma. And then Darnell Wright is going to Army. The end, Walker going to Penn State. Kayvon going to Texas. Mozzie going to Michigan. Outside, Nolan Smith going to Miami. Christian Harris, Ohio State. Nakobe Dean, Ball State. Cornerback Sauce, Stingley. Oh my gosh, they all went to Nebraska. Trent Stingley and Sauce Gardner. These 3 have a chance to all be first-team All-Pros in the NFL. And they're all going to Nebraska together. They had got Javon Holland last year. Daxton Hill. Do they end up getting... Okay, oh no, Daxton was maybe going to go there. But they have Javon Holland. I don't even know what else they have. That is insane. That is literally insane. Florida, #1 recruiting class. The 3 receivers kind of led the way with them. Nebraska had the 3 corners. They had 6 5-stars. Oh, with Garrett Wilson, too. What a class of athletic freaks. Sauce, Trent McDuffie, LSU corner. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. And then Garrett Wilson. Holy wow. Okay, we are going to go look at coaches here. Okay, so here we go. Look at our coaches. So Barry, DC at Stanford. Bobby Bowden still at Florida State. He is safe. His second year. Texas. Pete Carroll got hired at Illinois. Harbaugh now at North Carolina State. Woody Hayes, this is 40 years into the sim, guys, staying at Ohio State. Lou Holtz, DC at Army. Don James, Mississippi State. Jimmy Johnson safe at Michigan. Chip on the hot seat at Nevada. Urban safe at Florida. Nealand, now he's been there at 6 years, and Tennessee just had a nice year. Ed Orgeron on the hot seat. Tom Osborne. We're going to go look at some stuff with him. Just like he went 418 and 122 basically before winning a natty. Minus the wins this year, but like 408, 408 wins before he won a natty. That is crazy. Joe Pa really starting to put it together at Miami. Gary Patterson, Nick Saban at Duke. Bo Schembechler doing really good at Penn State. Schnellenberger, Kirby Smart. Oh, Kirby got fired at Georgia. Another one bites the dust. Georgia. Kirby. Oh, he's done. 391 and 138, and they fire him. He did win one natty there. Wow, so we have two coaches, guys, who went the whole run with one team. Woody and Urban. Wow. But look at Tom's. Tom, third most wins in the whole sim. Barry Switzer in fourth. Finally gets it done with the natty. Kirby kind of in a similar boat, but he ends up getting fired. So we have two coaches. Oh, sorry, three. Tom, Woody, Urban. Still with their original team. Made it 40 years so far. Okay. Guys, we are really at the stretch run. We have 4 seasons left in the video in the whole sim. Gonna make the next recruiting class and we'll get into it. Alrighty, guys, 2020 season, the 4th last season of the sim, and this is actually gonna be our 2nd last recruiting class. I don't make them usually for the last 2 years of my sims because when you make those classes, if you made it for the 2nd last sim, they wouldn't even be freshmen till the last year of the sim, and then they're not really gonna play much as freshmen. And then if you made them for the last year of the sim, obviously there's not a next year when they would actually be in college, so I don't make them for that year either. So only have 2 real life recruiting classes left. This is a ton of the guys who are like first round picks, really good players out of last year's draft, and a few of the guys are going to be going in this year's draft as well. So it is made. Let's hop into it. It's honestly a really good recruiting class for quarterbacks. There's 4. All 3 of them were first round picks, and then one was like a really high recruit. So going to quarterbacks first, Bryce Young obviously was the first overall pick out of Alabama, #1 recruit in his class as well. Drafted by Carolina. He's looking at Nebraska, Wisconsin, Washington, Tennessee, Georgia. We got DJ Ugalele. I'm not going to pronounce. I'm going to call him DJ from now on. Him and Bryce Young were actually the 2 top prospects in the class. He ended up going to Clemson, transferring to Oregon State. I think he transferred somewhere else this year for his final year, but he's looking at USC, Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Army. Then we have Anthony Richardson, who is just the 3rd overall pick by the Colts last year. He went to Florida, one of the craziest quarterback athletes of all time. He's also looking at Nebraska, then Illinois, Michigan State, Penn State, UCLA, Florida. And then last but not least, we got all these guys are going to Nebraska. Maybe we got CJ Stroud, who just had one of the best rookie years ever for an NFL rookie at quarterback. Went to Ohio State, was the 2nd overall pick. He's looking at Nebraska, Army, Ohio State, Florida. Moving on to running backs, we got two really good ones. Both were top 10 15 picks last year. First, we have Jahmyr Gibbs from Georgia. He actually started Georgia Tech, transferred to Bama. He's looking at Penn State, Iowa, Michigan, Wisconsin, Oklahoma. Then the other one is Bijan Robinson, got drafted by the Falcons, went to Texas, one of the best running back prospects coming out of college we've seen in a long time. He's looking at Florida, USC, Texas, Miami, Ohio State. Moving on to wide receivers, we got 3. First, Josh Downs. He went to North Carolina, got drafted by the Colts last year, I think in the 2nd round. He's looking at Nebraska, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, USC. We got Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's from Texas, but he actually went to Ohio State, was a first round pick by the Seahawks last year. He's looking at A&M, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska. And then lastly, we got Jordan Addison, who was a first or 2nd round pick by the Vikings. He started at Pitt, transferred to USC for his last year. He's looking at Nebraska, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, USC. We actually do have 2 tight ends in this class as well. We got Darnell Washington, who was at Georgia. crazy athlete, got drafted by the Steelers. He's looking at Ohio State, Nebraska, Penn State, USC, Georgia. Then we got Michael Mayer. He's from Kentucky, but played at Notre Dame, got drafted by the Raiders last year. He's looking at Ohio State, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Florida. Moving on to offensive linemen, we have 3 tackles. First, Paris Johnson Jr. He's from Ohio, played at Ohio State. He's looking at Ohio State, Nebraska, Penn State, Michigan, Oklahoma. We got Broderick Jones from Georgia, and he actually played at Georgia as well. He's looking at Miami, Tennessee, UNC, Vandy, Troy. Then the last one is Peter Skoronski, really good, really high pick last year. Played at Northwestern from Illinois. He's looking at Notre Dame, Illinois, Ohio State, Nebraska. That wraps it up on offense. Definitely a bit more of an offensive heavy class. We got 3 defensive ends. First, Miles Murphy from North Carolina, played at Clemson, looking at Ohio State, Nebraska, Penn State, Oklahoma. We got Will Anderson, who is Will was the 3rd overall pick. Anthony Richardson was 4th overall pick. So Will was 3rd or 2nd. It was him and CJ Stroud to Texans. He went to Alabama, one of the best defensive players we've seen in college in a long time. He's looking at Nebraska, Tennessee, Miami, Ohio State, Florida. Then lastly, we got BJ Ojulari. He went to LSU. He's from Georgia. He's looking at Penn State, Nebraska, Ohio State, Purdue. Moving on to defensive tackles. First, we got Brian Bresee, who's from Maryland. He was one of the top high school recruits coming out. He actually went to Clemson. He's looking at Penn State, Navy, Ohio State, Tennessee. Then the other one is Jalen Carter, who, unreal at Georgia. Top 10 pick by the Eagles last year. He's from Florida, went to Georgia. He's looking at Florida, Miami, Georgia, UCF, Georgia Tech. Move on to outside linebackers. We got 1 linebacker overall. It's Trenton Simpson. Really good athlete, played at Clemson. He's looking at Penn State, Ohio State, Army, Florida, Tennessee. We got 2 corners. First, we got Christian Gonzalez from Texas. I think he started at Colorado, then transferred to Oregon. Got drafted by the Patriots last year. He's looking at A&M, SMU, Houston. So definitely looks like he's going to stay in state. And then we got Keely Ringo, who went to Georgia, like a 2nd or 3rd overall round pick. Maybe actually 4th by the Eagles, but he was a really high prospect, a really high recruit coming out of high school. He's looking at USC, Nebraska, UCLA, Stanford, Texas. Then we have 1 safety. It is Brian Branch. He went to Alabama from Georgia, and he just got drafted by Detroit last year and had a really good rookie year in the NFL. So Nebraska seems to be really high on a lot of these guys' boards. They did just win the Natty last year, so I'm sure that's helping their cause. Okay, so we're going to get into this 2020 season. Going to look at our top 25, see how we're looking preseason here. Preseason polls, Nebraska coming in as the #1 overall team, but they're actually a 97, where Miami's A+ across the board. Notre Dame's an A. Tennessee's an A+, okay? Florida's down to an A, so this is the worst Florida team we've seen in a while. Ohio State's an A-, Penn State A+, Iowa B+, USC A+, Stanford, Texas look decent. Army, Oklahoma, Navy, UCLA, not really anywhere to be seen. So yeah, college football is starting to look a little bit different. Georgia's an A+. They just fired Kirby. But Nebraska, like Miami, might be the best team on paper right now. This is the worst we've probably seen on paper that Florida and Ohio State have been together. And I think for Florida, a big reason they do not have a QB this year. I ended up looking at their roster really quick, and Sam Darnold actually left a year early for the draft. So they do not have a QB. So they're kind of screwed there. No, all auto-generated for the Heisman. Well, actually, I want to look at championship contenders here to wrap up. These are like, we only have 4 years left. So this is really going to tell us who we should be keeping our eye on here. In Miami, 2-1-2-4, USC 9-2-17-8. So it looks like these 2 years are kind of their big years. Nebraska 1-3-1-2, so they could easily win another 1 or 2 over this stretch. Notre Dame looks pretty good. Ohio State, Florida, not quite as good as they've been, but still good. Same with Ohio State. Penn State, right around that 7-10 mark. Tennessee, really good this year. Georgia, kind of fallen off a little bit, and they fired Kirby after frickin' 40 years. Okay, let's go look at some of these rosters. Bama, really don't even have to look at them at this point. They've done nothing. Army, not as good as they've been in the past. Definitely feels like we're just seeing a little bit of a changing of the guard, like I said here. Did Clemson get anybody? Oh, they got Joe Milton. Oh, he's transferring in. Okay. So they're getting transferred Joe Milton. I don't remember where he was at originally. Yeah, Florida, a lot of talent. Miles, Rashawn Gary, still a lot of talent, but Penei Sewell. But when you look at their QB, they have an 81 true freshman starting. They have you really have to run the ball. Look at their young receivers though: Jamison Williams, George Pickens, Drake London. So I think in a year or two, you give this, if they get one of those big time recruits, Bryce Young, one of those guys, then yeah, even next year, they can be back with that young group of receivers. But yeah, they are just not, I would not expect them to be in the Natty this year. Georgia, they look fine. Parsons, they got Justin Fields, Micah Parsons. That's like two really good young guys to obviously build around. Some decent guys to throw to this year. So I don't know. Georgia could be fine. Probably not national title contenders, but I don't think Nebraska and Miami, I think, are by far the two best teams this year on paper. Miami, Bosa, Dickerson, this Ernst at QB who's a 99. They got Justin Jefferson, another 97. Yeah, this team is loaded. Taylor, Jerry Jeudy, Dylan Moses, Jeff Okudah, and just all the way down, a ton of depth. BJ Ojulari, James Cook. So yeah, they have this quarterback who's a junior, and then they have a sophomore. So they are pretty much set at QB for the next 3 years. We only have 4 years left in the sim, and if they get another decent recruit, they'll be fine each year. So Miami, James Cook, only a sophomore. We could easily see Miami win another one here. Justin, I think they have one in the sim, right? I think it's just one. Dixon, yeah, they have other, like, these guys are both sophomores coming up for them too. So yeah, Miami maybe has overtaken Florida as the best recruiting team right now. But then there's Nebraska too, who's I think so maybe Miami is just the best team on paper. Yeah, they don't have the quarterback. So if they get Stroud, they were like first on all 4 of those QBs, because that's really their weakness for them and Florida this year. The QB position, Jamar Chase, they got in Garrett Wilson. Look at their DBs. Their DBs are insane. Javon Holland, who's a sophomore. Yeah, not great at free safety, but whatever. Corner, they got this Carey, who's a senior. Trent McDuffie, Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley. Are you kidding me? That is insane. That's nuts. They got Patrick Queen, Jedrick Wills, Derek Brown. So maybe not going to repeat this year because the QB, but if them in Florida get those young QBs, they are built for the last maybe 2 years of the sim to, be duking it out for another natty. Ohio State, Devontae Smith, they got Trevor Lawrence, who's actually going to start, it looks like, this year. 95 overall. So hey, they maybe aren't quite as talented as they've been in past years, but they got Devontae Smith. They're going to have Trevor Lawrence for the next 3 years. Chase Young, Kyle Pitts, Aiden Hutchinson. So Ohio State not going anywhere. Daxton Hill, Christian Harris, middle linebacker, Charles Cross at left tackle. So hey, Ohio State's still in it. Oklahoma really starting to fall off now. They got Patrick Surtain, Spencer Rattler, Evan Neal, Sam Howell. So they're actually going to have this Perry. They got a couple seniors. Then either Spencer or Sam will start next year for Oklahoma. Penn State, they got Dwayne Haskins, DJ Moore, another QB, Jalen Waddle. Yeah, they should be passing the ball. Asante Samuel Jr., they have Will Levis who will start for them next year. So they're either going to have, Will Levis or Dwayne Haskins starting every year for the rest of the sim. So Penn State definitely could get it done here in the last 4 years of the sim. Tennessee, really good team this year on paper, like 2 good senior quarterbacks. So they'll be set there even if they have an injury. Strong safety. They have T. Higgins to go along with Justin Ross. So if I was them, I'd be trying to throw the rock. Oh, and they have a junior next year. So they're at least going to have really good QB play for the next 2 years to go along with T. Higgins, this Adam Smith, and Justin Ross. So a nasty 3 receivers. Tennessee, just throw the ball all over the yard. That's what I'd do. Brian Burns for Texas, not a ton else. Kayvon Thibodeau. So they have some edge rushers, but A&M, they got DK, another receiver, some decent talent, not really elite. Yeah, not great at QB. Oh, they did get Jaden Daniels. So not amazing this year for QB, but I mean, they have a good QB that they're going to develop, and they'll have him for 4 years. So that's obviously really good for them. UCLA, it really feels like we're seeing the end of their crazy run. They do have a decent QB. They're still a good team, nowhere near as talented as they were for that 15-year run. Not getting those big-time recruits. USC, they're really high overall this year. They still have they lost Josh Allen. This guy's a really good QB. They have Najee Harris, nice left tackle, AJ Terrell. Lots of talent down the list. Not the most talented team in the country, but definitely looks pretty good. And this guy's a junior, so they're going to have a good quarterback next year. Hey, maybe we'll see USC do something. And that is really our teams this year, guys. So there it is. I mean, Miami, this seems like Miami's year to me. They seem like on paper by far the most talented team, but we will see. Okay, so we're going to sim to week 10 and we'll pick it up. So, all right, week 10, let's take a look at recruiting. So first, Bryce Young leaning Nebraska. I hope a bunch of these guys don't go to the same school. Okay, so DJ, Georgia Tech, USC most likely. Anthony Richardson, West Virginia. Okay, cool. And CJ going to Florida. Man, it'd be kind of cool. Florida, CJ, Nebraska, Bryce. They're both loaded for the next 2 years. I would be digging that. Jameer looking like Oklahoma or Iowa. Bijan looking like he's like not getting recruited, which is always interesting. Josh Downs not really getting recruited. Jackson Smith going to Texas A&M with Jaden Daniels. Jordan Addison going to USC. Tight end Darnell Washington looking like, oh my gosh, he's not getting really recruited. Michael Mayer goes to his real life school with Notre Dame. Paris Johnson, Ohio State, Ohio, Oklahoma, Penn State. Broderick Jones going to Miami, and Peter Skronsky going to Notre Dame. DN, Miles Murphy looking like locked in at Nebraska. Will Anderson going to Nebraska. Man, they are getting some defensive recruits. Purdue gets BJ Ojolari. Brian Brissy goes to Navy. Jalen Carter goes to the U. Trenton Simpson looking like he's going to go to Ohio State. Cornerback Christian Gonzalez, UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, but A&M is leading the way. Keely Ringo going to go to Stanford. And then lastly, we got Brian Branch, Iowa, Ohio State, Georgia, Penn State. Let's look at the top 25 here. Iowa, Penn State, Nebraska, Miami of Ohio, then Miami, Notre Dame, Stanford. So Miami lost a game. They lost to Notre Dame. Oh, that's a tough one to lose. Penn State still undefeated, and they play Nebraska, USC, Ohio State, Tennessee. Where's Florida? Florida, 2 losses. They have Georgia this week. Lost to Kentucky and LSU. Here's the top 5 QB or Heisman watch. So that is where we're sitting. Season stat. There's our top 5. So we don't really have those QBs jumping out. Running backs all auto. DK Metcalf, Chase Claypool, and AJ Brown all in the top 5 there. Tackles, sacks, and then interceptions. Tyson Campbell at Florida. Team stats, points per game. Florida, FAU, Miami, Penn State, Notre Dame, Miami of Ohio, USC. Defensively, Nebraska, Toledo, UCF, Penn State, Iowa at the top. Okay, so we're just going to sim to conference championship game and watch one of those. All right, so conference championship weekend. Let's look at the top 25. Iowa undefeated, and they play Penn State. I don't even know one person on Iowa. Miami. Okay, we'll probably watch that. Miami, Notre Dame. Winner probably makes the Natty. Miami of Ohio. Penn State 1 loss, and they're that far down because they lost to Purdue. So that game's really good too. Florida 3 losses. Nebraska 3 losses. So really, it should be the winner of Penn. Like, how is UCLA 4 losses ahead of 1 loss Penn State? But yeah, it should be Iowa. Where it's going to get weird is if Iowa loses. If Iowa loses, it's probably the winner of A&M Tennessee versus the winner of Miami Notre Dame. So I want to watch that Miami Notre Dame game because Miami's got a ton of talent. Iowa doesn't really. Like, Penn State should win this game, but let's see. Penn State killed Iowa 51-24. So now, honestly, it might be the winner of this game gets in. Tennessee loses to A&M. So I think it's going to be the winner of this game versus A&M. I think. I mean, Penn State really should. They're 1 loss. They just beat the #1 team in the country, but they're all the way down at like number 9. So I can't see them jumping all the way up, but I don't know. We'll see. So offensively, Notre Dame has a really good offense. I don't even know who. We looked at Notre Dame, I think, preseason. This is where they're sitting very similar on offense, but Miami has a pretty significantly better defense. Oh, they have Mac Jones at QB with Henry Ruggs. Okay, so Notre Dame has some talent. We got Jefferson, Judy, Dylan Moses. Some injuries, but it doesn't look... I don't know if Ernst is Miami's starter, actually. That could be pretty big, but I feel like they have a really good backup too, like a 99 starter with a 97 backup, so they should be fine. There's Joey Bosa, or Nick Bosa, and Landon Dickerson. Pretty good top 2 to send up there. Okay, let's sim through this quarter. And no, 0-0, 0-0, 3-0. 10-0 Miami. Okay, 2nd and 3, 13, 3rd and 5 here. Let's watch this play. So Mac Jones with Henry Ruggs as his big time weapon. So kind of a Bama connection here. Mac in shotgun here on 3rd and 7, down 10. So they need to get something going here. Mac Jones, huge blitz, does get it out into the flats, and they're able to pick up the third down conversion. That was a great job by Mac, standing tall in the pocket and finding an open receiver. Huge gain there. Back to 3rd and 7. They pick it up again though. Lambert for 23, 1st and goal from the 4, and they score. So there's a Notre Dame touchdown. Miami punts back to Notre Dame. 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10. Let's watch another one here. Let's see if Mac can convert another big 3rd and long. You know, he's done a really good job here. Directing traffic, motion a guy across the formation. Mac gonna set up a screen pass, and he's going down. That's a huge sack. They tried to set up the screen. They could not get that ball out fast enough. Azeez Ojulari comes in for the sack. Man, this Miami team is loaded, but they got to get going here on offense a little bit. Okay, the huge plays there. Jefferson. It's 1st and 10 from the 20, 2nd and 5, 3rd and inches. We'll watch this play. So this is the first time we're watching Miami here. James Cook, Jerry Jeudy, Justin Jefferson with some really good QBs. They're auto-generated, but they're good. This guy's going to tuck it and run. He breaks a tackle. He's going to be about, a yard short. They're probably going to take their 3, I would guess. Yeah, they're going to take 3. Field goal good. They go up 6. Henry Ruggs for 13. 10-yard penalty. Gain of 14. Oh, fumble recovered by Miami. So Notre Dame fumbles. They give Miami a shot here to go get some points. 1st and 10, 13 seconds left. They do have a timeout, so Miami can get pretty aggressive here, take some shots to the end zone, and you can still kick a field goal with it. Oh, this guy really likes to tuck and run. Okay, so that was basically the worst possible thing. You better call a timeout, dude. Are they really gonna not call a timeout? I don't know. Oh yeah, okay, they did kick a field goal. It is 17-6. They got a 2-score lead. 3rd and 5. Okay, Miami gets stopped. Notre Dame gets stopped. Miami scores a 73-yard touchdown run by James Cook, and that might be all she wrote for Notre Dame. It's still only like start of the 3rd quarter, but they are really going to have to get it going on offense. Check that down. Going to be short, and Miami is going to get the ball back. Punt that off. Okay, so let's see. Jefferson for 15, Jerry for 5. Okay, we'll watch this 3rd down, even though this game's maybe over. We haven't really got to see any good plays from Miami. Every time we watch, this QB just tries to tuck it and run. Motion a guy across. I think that's Jefferson maybe, and he gets tackled. No, when we're watching Miami, they're not doing anything, but that was okay. Yeah, love. So that wasn't Jefferson. Oh, they're actually going to go for this. So we'll watch this play. 4th down, Miami, national title. Like, they'll come in as the #1 team if they win this game to the national title as well. Let's see. Drops back. Gonna check that down. That should be a 1st down. I don't know if he got it into his front hand though. That's James Cook in the flats. Okay, it was a 1st down. They're actually gonna run hurry up here. Trips to the top of the screen. Gonna hand this off to James Cook. That is a nice tackle there by Notre Dame. Okay, I'm just gonna sim through this quarter. Okay, 24-10. Okay, and then Henry Ruggs, all of a sudden it's 24-17. We got a 1-score game going into the 4th quarter. James Cook for 7. 3rd and 1. They pick it up. 1st and 10. Justin Jefferson had a 26-yard gain. 2nd and 10. 10-yard penalty. 3rd and 18. Maybe in field goal range. I don't know how good Miami's kicker is. We got an empty look here. You got Jefferson and Jeudy. I'd like to see him get the ball to one of those two. He's gonna go over the middle there. Ooh, picks up 16. I mean, really makeable field goal to go up 2 scores. Definitely want to take this one. And field goal good. So they have a decent kicker. He's making his kicks. That can be an issue sometimes. Ruggs got an 11-yard game there. 1st and inches. 2nd and 14. 3rd and 14 for Notre Dame. So this is a huge down. If you could pick up a conversion, at least get a field goal in this drive, get it down to a 1-score game. Mac drops back. He's going to go. Oh, that's a really nice throw by Mac in along the sideline. Great conversion there. Mac Jones slinging that thing. Okay, 3 yards, 2 yards, 3rd and 5. 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2 from the 5. Definitely want to score a touchdown here. I'd probably go for this, but I mean, you kick a field goal, you get it down to 1 score, 3 minutes left. You just need to stop on D Mac. Going down to the flats. Okay, that didn't look great. Mac 29-43. We're gonna watch this. We'll see. Okay, they are gonna go for it. So Notre Dame going for this on 4th and 2. This is the play of the day. Notre Dame. Oh, the corner comes up and makes a great play, and Miami gets the stop. That is it. That is probably going to do it. Miami should be able to finish this off now. 3rd and 2. They pick it up. 2nd and 8. 3rd and 4. Yeah, this is it. They're able to just run that out, and that is it. Miami wins the ACC, and they're going to the national championship. They have Joe Paterno as their coach now. I believe they've won one in their history. They made it in 2015. I think they made one in they won one in the 80s or the 90s maybe. They won in 93, and that is it. So they got one natty. They're trying to win their second, probably Tennessee probably A&M. Maybe Penn State. I think Penn State should be the matchup. Miami, Penn State. I think it's going to be Texas A&M though. Look at some stats here. Mac played fine. 281 and a touchdown is decent. Receiving, Henry Ruggs went for 97 yards and a touchdown. Jerry Jeudy, 70. James Cook was kind of their big guy. Yeah, 31 carries for 205. So Cook was going off for them. Alrighty, so we're going to just sim and we'll see what this matchup is. So Smith from FAU wins the Heisman. Mac Jones actually gets 5th. A lot of auto-generated guys kind of near the top. So there it is. It's A&M Miami. I guess A&M had two losses. I don't really get the whole, why wouldn't it have been Penn State? I don't get why they were ranked so low going into that game. They finished 3rd. But to me, who is their loss to? They lost to Purdue, a 4-8 Purdue game. That is a tough L. So who did A&M lose to? They lost back-to-back weeks, LSU and Arkansas. I guess just because theirs were so much earlier in the year. But there it is. So A&M's got DK and Jaden Daniels on offense. Miami has the much more talented team. They should be able to get this done and get their second national championship. And this, I think, would be A&M's 6th if they win. So yeah, this is a big game. Miami is much more talented. They're trying a true freshman at quarterback who's dynamic, but he's a true freshman. So, I mean, Miami, you should win this, but stranger things have happened. A&M is the 12th offense, the number 1 passing offense, 12th offense, 28th on defense versus 3rd and 3rd. Everything is pointing to Miami here. Jefferson, they do not throw the ball. My goodness, Jefferson and Jeudy, look at their combined numbers. They don't even use their 2 best players. Injury report. So their QB, I think their starting QB is still out. Yeah, they have the 26th ranked pass offense. So Miami's definitely more run heavy, but they have some really good pass catchers. James Cook's a good player to run with, but I'd probably up my passing just a little bit. Here it is. I think this would be, because A&M, this would be, I think they're 5th, because yeah, they won 4, then they won in the 80s and early 90s, then they won in 2013. And then if they win now, that'd be 6th, and I think this would tie them with Florida has 6 too. I didn't mean to return this, so I'm just going to go touchback there. Okay, we're going to sim through the first quarter. I believe this is Cali they're playing in. Started out, Miami jumps out to a 7-0 lead. 14-0 lead. Oh my goodness. 14-0 lead here. We got a 3rd and 7 here for A&M. So they need to get something going on offense. Jaden Daniels, DK Metcalf, should be feeding those two the ball, but they're going to run draw here on 3rd down, and Miami cleans that up, and the U is starting to look pretty dangerous right now. -3 though. 3rd and 5. We'll watch from right here. I don't really love this QB. He just wants tuck it and run. Doesn't really use Jefferson and Jeudy, but they have so much talent just everywhere else. It hasn't mattered a ton. They're bringing a blitz. You got to get that out. They're going to call that a Ooh, it looked like his foot was out, but that is a huge play for A&M to get him back in it. Keith Kennedy throws a pick, 14 yards to DK, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, and there's a touchdown. Okay, all of a sudden A&M's back in it, but then Jefferson for 16. Jefferson again sacked, and 3rd and 9 out of field goal range. So this is a big play right here for Miami, or obviously A&M. If you're A&M and you can get, stop him here, get the ball back, they're going to try to set up a screen to James Cook. They do have some blocking. He's got to break a tackle, and he doesn't. I probably go for this if I'm Miami. Yeah, they are going to go for it. You're probably at a field goal, really weird area of the field, especially college kickers. They're not quite as good. In NFL, you'd probably be able to kick this. College is a really weird area of the field on 4th and 3. So you kind of got to go for this. Going to hand it off to James Cook. He kind of gets held up in the backfield by A&M, but he does get the 1st down. They got 92 team rushing yards right now. Cook has 56. They're going to run a little hurry up here. Here we go. Going to hand this off. get upfield, 2nd and 7. Okay, here we go again. 2nd and 7 for Miami in a motion. They're just really trying to run the ball. Cook breaks a tackle there. You're down to 3rd and 7. I don't really love the hurry up with just running the ball when you have Justin Jefferson and Jerry Jeudy. But here it is, 3rd and 7. I mean, they're at least really in field goal range here at bare minimum. Gonna throw it here though. Go to Jeudy or Jefferson. Gonna go end zone. Picked again. Kennedy is keeping A&M in this game. They have their backup quarterback. He's a 97 overall, but he's a backup. Throws a pick. Jaden Daniels has a chance here. 2nd and 10. We got 3rd and 3 here. They're 0 for 4 on 3rd down A&M. They did kind of get gifted. They're not gifted, but like they had really short field position on their touchdown drive. Blitz. Buy some time, but that's a great tackle underneath by Miami. Shut that down. Great open field tackle. A&M punts it away. Miami football, 3rd and 12. They punt it away. A&M punts it away. Miami, 1st and 10, 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1. They pick it up. Jerry Jeudy, 1st and goal from the 7. We're going to watch 2nd and goal from the 7. Oh, they have 6 seconds left. They have 1 timeout, and they're going to go end zone here. Luckily for them, if they get sacked or anything, they can call a timeout. But here we go. Sliding. He's going to... Oh, that's horrible. Oh my gosh, they just got that off. I do not like this QB for Miami. Running there with 6 seconds left. They were 1 second away from not even getting a point. They do get the field goal and they get the ball here, 3rd and 4. They pick it up. They're really going James Cook heavy here. They actually get stopped. Oh my goodness, what happened? Fumble recovered. A&M again gets it in Miami territory. They're 0 for 6 on 3rd down. I mean, other than the turnovers, A&M should not be in this game, but they are getting it done. This might be a touchdown. Oh no, just a 1st down. It looked like if he would have busted that to the outside, he might have scored. He's got 13 carries for 21 yards. Okay, and there it is, a touchdown. So it's a 3-point game. Just Miami is turning this ball over. 3rd and 2, they pick it up. James Cook for 21, 12 for James Cook, 1st and goal from the 5. We'll watch from right here. So Miami must be out yardaging them just by so much, but the turnovers, 2 picks, a fumble have totally they've gifted A&M legitimately 14 points. Okay, James Cook, and he gets in there. So Miami, take care of the football, and this should be a win. You can get your 2nd national title of the sim, but yeah, no more, bad turnovers. Dropped by DK. A&M punts that ball. If Miami scores here, this might be over. 2nd and 10, 1st and 10. Oh my God, fumble recovered by A&M. And then he hits DK for 26. That's the 4th turnover for Miami. They get another 1st down. Another 1st down. 2nd and 12. 3rd and 8. I mean, a field goal here, you get it down to a 1-score game even. Miami fumbles inside the 10-yard line. Their 4th turnover, just keeping A&M in it. Jaden Daniels checks that down. That's actually a huge knockout because I don't know if you can kick a field goal from here. Let's see what they do. Okay, they hit field goal good. They hit a 47-yarder. So it's a 1-score game. And now Miami punts it. A&M football at their own 19. 3rd and 4. They don't get it. Go back to Miami. Oh, that's a couple of huge passes. 2nd and 10. Here's 3rd and 10 though, out of field goal range. If you don't convert this or at least get 9 yards, you're going to be out of here, without points. They're going to go fake, slide. Oh, climbs the ladder. Nick Dixon. What a reception. That was a tough ball. High point against the safety coming down. Keith Kent, this guy's a bit of a gunslinger, man. This guy does not care. They've got freaking, they're 50% in the red zone right now. Miami sliding. Oh, and there's a sack. Hey, we got it all happening right now. Are they going to go hurry up again? No. Next play, they hit Brady for 10. We're going to watch from here. I mean, all you need is a field goal and no turnovers, and Miami probably wins this game. But Kennedy could throw a pick right here. Let's see. I'd probably run the ball. I wouldn't be giving the guy a chance to throw a pick. Going to drop back. Checks that down. That's Jerry Jeudy. Breaks a tackle, and he gets a 1st down. Jerry Jeudy having 2 superstar receivers. Judy's got 170 yards receiving in the Natty. Kennedy's thrown for 402, but those turnovers were just bad. He's already thrown 1 pick in the end zone, so gonna run it here. Breaks a tackle down inside the 3 to 4 yard line. Okay, here we go. 2nd and goal. Gonna pass this ball. He's gonna tuck it and run. Oh my gosh, he's down. This quarterback plays like an insane person. James Brown for A&M, 14 tackles, 3 TFLs, and a sack. 3rd and goal. If you're Miami, do not get crazy here. Take your 3. Don't do anything dumb, Kennedy. Oh, he's going to tuck it and run. This guy loves to tuck it and run. He gets in, and that should do it. That should get it done for Miami. We'll see, though. Maybe A&M's got something crazy up their sleeves. 2nd and 3, 3rd and 1. They pick it up. Hit Brown, Daniels, 3rd and 9 here. Pick up 5. They actually pick up 31 there. 3rd and 10, we'll watch here now. 2:33 left. You need 2 touchdowns in the last 2:33. You do have 3 timeouts. You need to score in the next 20, 30 seconds here, because then you can keep all your timeouts. Is he going to go in? No. Oh, that could have been picked. Jaden Daniels. This is 4th and 10. Should be the game right here. If Miami gets 1 stop, they are going to be national champions. Here it is. Jaden Daniels. They're trying to get it done with a true freshman at quarterback. Rob's back. He's got a wide open guy. That could be a touchdown. Down inside the 3-yard line. Jaden Daniels on 4th down hits his tight end for 23 yards. -3. 3rd and goal from the 6 zone. And they're letting clock run. You gotta punch this in. Yeah, that 1st and goal from the 3, they're going to try and draw. Oh, what a horrible play call. Okay, here's the game again. Are they going to get another huge 4th down conversion? They're letting the clock wind now. They need 2 touchdowns. They're averaging 2.4 yards per carry with their starting running back. Not great, but here it is. Jaden Daniels, you have more 4th down magic in you. Jaden drops back, goes underneath, and that should do it. We're going to just super sim now. Miami should get it done, win their 2nd natty. Let's just super sim through, and that is it. Miami gets it done, beat A&M, and they win their 2nd of the sim, and this is their 1st one with Joe Pa. Jimmy Johnson won their 1st one in the late 90s or the early 90s, and then so Joe Pa wins it for them. And it's actually Joe Pa's 2nd natty, because he won one with Penn State in the 80s. Look at game stats here. Daniels, he played okay, not really great, honestly, but I mean, he's a true freshman against a super talented Miami team. Jerry Jeudy went off. James Cook, it was the James Cook Jeudy show, and honestly, Kennedy played good. Other than the turnovers, 413, he ran for a touchdown also. So Miami, we kind of said preseason they looked like the best team on paper, and they do finish the job. Alrighty, so we're just going to do our year-end wrap-up stuff here. So Miami gets it done here. Penn State, I think it should have been Penn State in that game. They were the 2nd best team in the country this year, but way it goes. Heisman winner, we already looked at. FAU. All-Americans, Mac Jones, 1st team All-American. He's only a sophomore, so they'll have him for next 2 years if he doesn't leave early. DJ Moore, 1,100 yards. He's a senior, so he's done. We'll actually look at Mac. 3,600 yards, 39 touchdown, 4 picks. Nice job, Mac. Jonah, Landon Dickerson, Nick Bosa at Miami, national champion, and had 9.5 sacks this year. A lot of autos. Jeff Okuda at Miami. Man, they had a lot of talent on defense this year. And there we go. 2nd team, Mike Rogers, James Cook for Miami, 1,100 yards. Garrett Wilson, another freshman for Nebraska, freaking 1,500 yards. DK, 1,500 yards with Jaden Daniels. Aiden Hutchinson, redshirt freshman, 6.5 sacks. Quay Walker for Georgia Tech, Winston Benderek as a sophomore. Tyson Campbell for Florida finishes with 7 picks, 5 picks. There we go. And then we'll look at freshmen. Garrett Wilson, huge year for Nebraska. Jamison Williams, 538. Darnell Wright. Aiden Hutchinson we looked at. Nolan Smith for Miami, another really good defender. Nakobe Dean for Ball State. Daxton Hill for Ohio State. Kyle Hamilton was a returner for Georgia. Okay. Season stats, Mac Jones led the country in passing, rushing there, receiving. Justin Ross has had back-to-back monster years. DK, Devontae Smith on the list as well. Tackles, sacks, Nick Bosa on the list, and interceptions. Team stats: Penn State, Tennessee, Miami of Ohio, USC, Notre Dame. Defensively, we got Houston, James Madison, Nebraska, Miami. So Miami was a good team this year, man. Okay, National Signing Day. So QB, so Carey he's a 5-star. He ends up at Miami, and they honestly need a QB for their last year. So Bryce ends at Nebraska, DJ Georgia Tech, Richardson West Virginia, and Stroud Florida. Oh my goodness, if the last year of the sim we got CJ Stroud versus Bryce Young in the national championship, Nebraska Florida, with how stacked they are, I would be so pumped. Probably won't work out that way, but it'd be cool. Jahmyr Gibbs, Iowa. USC gets Bijan. Downs goes to Ohio State. Jackson Smith, and then Addison, USC. Tight end Darnell goes to USC. Michael Mayer, Notre Dame. Paris Johnson, Penn State. Miami, Broderick Jones, Skoronski, Notre Dame. Nebraska, Miles Murphy, and they get Will Anderson. So they have Miles Murphy and Will Anderson. And last year they got those 3 corners. So that's what they're building their defense with. That is crazy. Brian Brissy and then Jalen Carter went to Miami. Trenton Simpson, Ohio State. No middles. Corners, Christian Gonzalez, I think that's North Texas. Keely Ringo, Stanford. And then Ohio State for Brian Branch. So Miami, #1 class. A&M, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia Tech, Ohio State, Penn State. Nebraska, not really high. I liked their class though. Okay, now we're just going to go look at our coaches. We only have 3 still at the OG team now that Kirby's down. I don't think any of them are getting fired though. Ohio State wasn't great last year, but I don't think fireworthy. Florida was pretty good, and then Nebraska was good, pretty good. All 3 were just pretty good, but they've got really good recruiting classes. For Ohio State has Trevor Lawrence for the next 2 years. We got Alvarez, Stanford, Bobby Bowden, Florida State, Mac Brown, Pete Carroll at Illinois on the hot seat already. Harbaugh on the hot seat at North Carolina. Woody Hayes, safe. Lou Holtz at Army, DC. Don James, head coach at Mississippi State. He's been there for 7 years now. Jimmy Johnson at Michigan, safe there. Chip Kelly, safe for now at Nevada. Urban Meyer, safe. Robert Nealon, he's been there for 7 years now. I think this is his 3rd or 4th stint. Ed Orgeron, safe for now at LSU. Tom, obviously safe. Joe Paul, obviously safe. 12 years at Miami. He's averaging like 10 years a season. So he's really brought Miami back. Nick Saban on the hot seat. Bo, been really good at Penn State. Schnellenberger, low, so he might get fired after 23 years at Georgia Tech. Kirby Smart at Tennessee. Steve Spurrier finally getting another chance at Utah State. He's got a few, but he was like an OC for just ever. Dabo. Barry Switzer. I cannot believe the fact Barry Switzer got fired at Oklahoma. 3 national championships, or maybe even 4. Kyle Whittingham at DC, and that is our coaches, guys. So gonna make the next recruiting class and we'll hop into it. All right, guys, here we go. 2021 season. This is gonna be the last recruiting class. It is made. Now, I actually added 2 players because this is the last recruiting class. So I added 2 of the really high recruits that, are just really fun to watch in college football. They're actually technically in next year's recruiting class. We'll look at those guys when we get there. But this is going to be it, guys. Really good QB class. We got 5 QBs, good players at basically every position. We don't have any safeties, but other than that. So if we go to QB, first, we have Caleb Williams, one of the better, college football quarterbacks we have seen in a long time. Started at Oklahoma, moved to USC, won the Heisman. He's looking at Notre Dame, Va Tech, Navy, Maryland, Tennessee. We got Quinn Ewers, who was like the #1 player in the class. Started at Ohio State, went back to Texas, is going to come back for another year at Texas this year. He's looking at Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee, A&M, UCLA. Then we got Shedeur Sanders, obviously Dion's kid. Played last year at Colorado, had a really good year, and he's coming back for another year of college football. So, big time player, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he goes. We got JJ McCarthy, who just wrapped up his college career. Looks like he's going to be a 1st-round pick in the NFL draft this year, and he went to Michigan. He's looking at Va Tech, Maryland, Notre Dame, USC, Michigan. And then the last one is going to be Drake May, who looks like he's going to be a top 3 pick probably this year. Out in North Carolina, played at Chapel Hill for UNC. Now he's looking at Florida, A&M, Ohio State, Penn State, Tennessee. So that's all our QBs. Definitely a good class. All 5 of those are probably going to be first round picks between this year and next year. Move on to running backs. We got 2. First, Trevion Henderson, who's from Virginia, went to Ohio State. Actually, he's coming back for 1 more year at Ohio State. He's looking at JMU, VTech, North Carolina Navy. Then we got Will Shipley, who's at Clemson, had a really good career there, really athletic, you know, do-it-all running back. He's looking at UNC, North Carolina State, Tennessee, Georgia. Move on to wide receivers. We got 3. First, Xavier Worthy, who just ran the fastest 40 time ever at the NFL Combine, 4.21. From Cali, went to Texas, though. He's looking at Tennessee, A&M, Georgia, Nebraska, Penn State. We got Emeka Abuka. He's from state of Washington, but went over to Ohio State. Played with C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr., all those guys. He'll probably be a first-round pick next year's draft. He's looking at A&M, Ohio State, Nebraska, Miami, USC. And we got Marvin Harrison Jr., who's probably the best college receiver most people think since like Julio, AJ Green. You know, maybe Jamar Chase you could sneak in there, but like 6'3", you know, 200 pounds. Went to Ohio State. He's from Pennsylvania, but he's looking at Penn State, Ohio State, Pitt, Tennessee, Michigan. Move to tight end. We got 2. First, Jatavion Sanders, really big time recruit coming out of college. Ended up at Texas. He's looking at UCLA, Miami, Texas A&M, Army, Nebraska. Then we got Brock Bowers from Cali. Actually went to Georgia. Probable top 10 pick in the NFL draft this year. He's looking at UCLA, Miami, Nebraska, Iowa. Move to offensive lineman. We got 2 tackles. First, Joe Alt. We actually had his dad in the sim in the 80s. From Minnesota. Played for Notre Dame, probably a first-round pick in the NFL draft this year. He's looking at Minnesota, Ohio State, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Wisconsin. Then we got J.C. Latham, huge offensive lineman, played at Alabama, probably a first-round pick once again in the NFL draft this year. He's looking at A&M, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Nebraska. If we go to guards, we got Donovan Jackson. Now, he played at Ohio State, from Texas, but he's looking at Nebraska, A&M, Miami, Army, Florida. Go to defensive ends. We got 3. First, Dallas Turner, outside linebacker, DN type, played at Alabama, really good speed rusher off the edge. He's looking at Miami, Florida, A&M, Georgia Tech. We got Jack Sawyer, who you know, another big time recruit, ended up at Ohio State. He's looking at Ohio State, Tennessee, Penn State, Florida A&M. Then we got JT Tuimalo. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name anymore. Just going to go with JT. He's from Washington, played at Ohio State. Another guy, big time recruit. He's looking at Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, LSU, Mississippi State, LSU. Then the last one's Corey Foreman, who's actually a bit of a bust in college. He was like one of the top recruits in the country, though. Out of Cali, ended up at USC. He's looking at UCLA, USC, Stanford, Nebraska, Washington. We actually have no defensive tackles or safeties. If we go linebackers, we got 1. So this is Harold Perkins. He's actually from the next recruiting class, but because we're not doing that, I added him to this class. He's from Texas, ended up at LSU. Like, he's kind of like a Micah Parsons type player, can pass rush, play coverage, just literally do it all over the field. Had an insane freshman year at LSU. He's looking at Texas, Texas A&M, LSU, Oklahoma, TCU. Then we got Jeremiah Trotter. He's playing at Clemson. Really kind of an undersized, fast linebacker. He's looking at Florida, A&M, Tennessee, Ohio State. Yeah, we have no middle linebackers, but we got 2 corners. First, we got Kool-Aid McKinstry, big time recruit out of Alabama, played for the Tide. He's looking at Florida, A&M, Ohio State, UCLA, Oklahoma. And then the last one is another guy who's actually technically in next year's class, but because we're not making him, I add him to this one, and it's Travis Hunter. Now, Hunter is one of the most unique players to come into college football in a long time. Can play wide receiver and corner, has a chance to win a Heisman this year in the upcoming college season if Colorado has a good year. So he's from Georgia. He's looking at Florida, Tennessee, A&M, Georgia, Ohio State. Obviously, he's at Colorado right now. So that is the last class of this sim, guys. We still have this season plus 2 more seasons, but this is going to be the last recruiting class. Okay, so let's go look at all our stuff here. So Miami coming in with an A+. They are the defending national champs. Penn State coming as an A, taking a bit of a step back from the last few years. Notre Dame A+, Tennessee A, UCLA A-, A+ for Florida, A&M B+, Iowa, USC coming A+ across the board. They're actually the only one when you include special teams that we've seen so far. A- for Georgia, Georgia Tech, Ohio State A+, Nebraska A+, everything. Stanford A- from Washington. Any more A's sneaking back here? No, it looks like it. So kind of a little bit different in the top 5 to 10 though. So right now we got Nathan Smith, we got Mac Jones at Notre Dame, and Tua Tagovailoa at Ohio State. preseason All-Americans. Got Mac. We got James Cook at Miami. Breece Hall taken over as the full-time starter at Ohio State. Justin Ross at Tennessee has had back-to-back insane seasons for Tennessee. Garrett Wilson's had an insane freshman year. Tristan Wirfs, Jedrick Wills, Aiden Hutchinson, Ohio State, and then a lot of auto gens. Tua Tagovailoa, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Andrew Thomas at Nebraska, Quay Walker at Georgia Tech, Tyson Campbell at Florida, and then the rest auto gens. Championship contenders. So we got Ohio State 12 this year, 114. Florida 6-2-4-5. So we're kind of starting to finally see a bit of a downtick from Florida. Penn State 2-3-3-3. Nebraska 14-4-3-2-6. Miami 1-5-5-1. Tennessee. So it feels like these five, probably Miami, Nebraska, Penn State, Florida, Ohio State, are really the top five for the next few years, and everyone else is kind of can be more around the top 10 range. So yeah, I'd expect, the next three natties to have a good chance at either being Miami, Nebraska, Penn State, Florida, Ohio State, especially when you factor in like Ohio State's been killing it recruiting. Florida's been really good. Okay, let's look at some of these rosters. Bama, they've just been doing nothing. Army, they're okay. Getting a lot of auto gens right now, not getting a ton of the real life guys. Clemson, they got Joe Milton coming in, so and he's only a sophomore, so they'll have him for the next 3 years, but not a ton around him. Florida, I actually haven't recorded one of these in like 3 days, so I'm like kind of blanking even who's on the team. It's different for you guys because you guys just watch it back to back to back. For each episode. It can be, sometimes I'm doing other stuff. I run other YouTube channels, so it can be like multiple days before I come back to one of these. So I don't even remember necessarily who's on all the teams. So like right now, Florida, okay, so they have a sophomore starting quarterback. They have CJ Stroud on the bench. So this guy's going to start, Stroud might start by next year. Running back, I know their receivers are insane young too. So they got Jamison Williams, Drake London, and George Pickens for possibly the next 3 years. So that's really the strength of their team. Penei Sewell, Tyson Campbell, definitely not quite, they're young. They don't have that high-end elite talent right now like they have had in past years at the top of their roster. Georgia, they got Micah Parsons and Justin Fields. I mean, you build around those two in college, that is pretty nasty. Kyle Hamilton, not super deep, but they do have those two guys at the top of their roster. Georgia Tech, they got Quay Walker, kind of their best player. LSU hasn't really been doing anything. They got Terrace Marshall. Miami, defending national champs. They were nasty last year. They got still Jefferson Okudah, Judy at the top. Dylan Moses, this Eric Sledge, who's going to be at QB. Then they have Brown next year, and then they just need a one Q. So they have their QB for the next 2 years covered. They just need someone who can be good for the last year of the sim. They have James Cook. They have Justin Jefferson, Judy, but they have nothing behind them. So they kind of need a receiver recruit, honestly. But for this year again, then they got Azeez Ojulari, Nolan Smith. Jalen Carter, man, they have a lot of talent. We could definitely see another natty in Miami this year. Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, Jamar Chase, Jedrick Wills, Javon Holland, Andrew Thomas. Their corner group is insane. Sauce, Garrett Wilson, McDuffie, Stingley. Another team with a ton of talent. They just brought in Bryce Young and Miles Murphy, right? So this guy's going to start for a year, then it's Bryce Young. So I'm hoping for the last 2 years of the sim, we got Bryce Young, CJ Stroud starting for Nebraska and Florida. Nebraska loaded, easily could win another one over the next 3 years. Notre Dame, actually really good this year. They got Henry Ruggs and Mac Jones, just your top two. Throw the ball, with those two, and you're going to do well. You have another good receiver, some running backs, some depth down. A lot of auto gens besides those two. They did bring in Michael Mayer and Skoronsky this year, but it's going to be the Henry Ruggs, Mac Jones show. Ohio State, Devontae Smith with Trevor Lawrence finally getting the start here. They got Chase Young, Kyle Pitts, Aiden Hutchinson. That is crazy. These guys were first overall pick, like in the real life NFL draft, first overall pick, like 5th to Atlanta, I think. First overall pick, and like 8th or something to Philly. That is an insane group at the top. Only 2 of them are seniors too. They got Daxton Hill as well. Charles Cross, Christian Harris, Brian Branch, Josh Downs, plus I'm missing Breece Hall in there as well. Yeah, and Breece Hall right here. So Ohio State has a ton of talent. We've really seen Oklahoma take a step back right now. They do have Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell, Patrick Surtain. But yeah, no, they're definitely not what they once were. Penn State, Jalen Waddle, Asante Samuel Jr., Will Levis, Travon Walker. Yeah, these guys still have a lot of talent. Not quite as talented as they have been in past years. Paris Johnson Jr., but still, pretty good. They'll give Ohio State, a good game in the Big Ten. Tennessee, they have some talent, man. They got T. Higgins, Singleton, Justin Ross. So the Singleton guy just throwing to 2 nasty 6'4" wide receivers. Some good depth down the roster. So do they have a QB for after this guy? This Chester Riley could be okay next year, but definitely won't be like a star. Texas, they had a good kind of run a few years ago, but yeah, nothing right now. A&M, running back, few middle linebackers, decent QB, Brian Brown. So this guy's going to start over Jaden Daniels, even though Daniels started last year. Yeah, so they could be okay. They didn't make the national championship last year, so you can never count out A&M in this sim. UCLA, good guard, really nice quarterback here, a good backup, 91, another good, this guy's a sophomore and he's a 91. Holy, so they'll have a good starter next year. They're pretty good. I mean, they don't have a lot, it's all auto gens. They don't even have one real life guy. It doesn't look like. That's going to limit you in this sim because the real life guys are just better than the auto gens. But yeah, okay. USC, Najee, AJ Terrell, a senior 96 quarterback. Lots of talent all the way down. Wow. Okay. And they're deep, man. Once again, the same with UCLA. A lot of auto. Oh my gosh. They have no QB next year. They really need one of those QB prospects. But they got Bijan. They have a shot this year, though. That is one of the deeper teams in the whole sim. Keep going down. I think Washington had a pretty decent team. They got Jalen Phillips, by far their best player. Do they have a QB? Don't really have a great QB this year. So that is where we're sitting, guys. That is looking like who's going to be the best teams. I like Miami, maybe Ohio State. I think I like Ohio State, honestly, for just the best overall roster this year. Okay, we're going to sim to week 10 and we'll see where we're at. All right, so here we are in week 10. We'll go through the recruiting real quick here. So QB Caleb Williams going to Tennessee, huge pickup. Quinn Ewers looking like A&M, New Mexico, Arizona State. Shador, A&M, Arizona, LSU. JJ locked in at Ball State, and then Drake May looking. Don't go to Ohio. Actually, I don't know if they have anyone after Trevor Lawrence. You might be able to play actually for a year or two. These guys are all like, they're only coming in for the last 2 years of the sim. So some of these guys, depending where they go, we won't even see them. JMU Vautech for Travion. Will Shipley locked in at North Carolina. Receiver Xavier Worthy might go play with Caleb. Emeka Egbuka looking like Ohio State, Ohio State, Miami. And Miami actually low-key really needs a receiver. And Marvin Harrison might go to Tennessee. What if all of a sudden Tennessee is getting Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison, and Emeka Egbuka, and we're only going to have 2 years left in the sim? If you're a Volunteers fan, that's tough. Jatavion looking like Miami or Utah. Brock Bowers, Iowa, UNLV. I mean, he kind of fits at Iowa with the tight ends. Joe Alt looking like Nebraska, Ohio State, Minnesota. JC Latham, Georgia, A&M, Louisville. Donovan Jackson, Nebraska. DN, Dallas Turner, Georgia Tech, Marshall. Jack Sawyer, Ohio State. JT looking at Arkansas, Tennessee. Corey Foreman, Stanford, UW-USC. So Tennessee could kind of just have a wicked class here. Needed this a little bit earlier. Harold Perkins going to stay at Texas. Jeremiah Trotter might go to Tennessee. Wow, Tennessee. I'm impressed. I got this 4-star backer. Cornerback Kool-Aid going to go to Florida. And Travis Hunter locked in at Florida. So Florida wasn't really getting any of the guys, but they get the 2 best corners in the class. So there we go. Top 25, Georgia 8-0, Miami 8-0, defending national champs. Ooh, Georgia just beat Florida. And Florida is 6-2. That's tough for Florida. They're probably out of it. UCLA, Oregon State with Tua, Army, Iowa, Miami of Ohio. Okay, so it's really Miami, Georgia are kind of on a collision course if they don't lose. Georgia, I mean, they both play Georgia Tech. That's their only ranked opponents left. So where's Ohio State? Ohio State and Florida have 2 losses. Heisman watch. I could see, okay, this John Jackson at UCLA, Justin Fields for Georgia, and Mac Jones 4 and 5. Good season stats. Trevor Lawrence leading the country in passing. Mac Jones in 4th. Rushing leaders, that's the list. Receiving, Devontae Smith in 2nd at Ohio State. There's tackles. There's sacks. There's interceptions. Team stats here. Points per game. A&M, Ohio State. Definitely not quite as high scoring right now. Points allowed. Miami in 3rd. Iowa, Army, SMU. Okay, we're just going to sim to conference championship weekend. Okay, conference championship weekend. Let's see where we are at. So Georgia, Miami with Bowling Green. I feel like that's basically what it was last year. It was like a team like Bowling Green was undefeated as well. So Tennessee 2 losses, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Florida all with 2 losses, but not going to matter for any of them. Basically how it's going to work, if Bowling Green beats Ball State, they're going to be the next team in. Miami, and then if Georgia beats A&M and Miami beats Notre Dame, those 2 will be in. If one of them loses, Bowling Green will be in. So we'll sim this game. If Georgia wins, they're basically in. So they do. So there should be in. So we're going to sim this game. If Miami wins, they're in. Back to back. Kill Notre Dame. So they are in. So that's locked in. So this game's really not going to matter, but I'm sure Bowling Green will win. Yeah, they absolutely destroyed Ball State. So it is going to be Georgia, Miami in the big game. So Sam Norwood at Washington wins the Heisman. Justin Fields gets 5th. So game is set. 2 undefeated teams. Miami has more talent, but what did we say before the year started? Georgia has Justin Fields and Micah Parsons. That could be enough. Miami's got to be the big favorite. 93 overall compared to 99. But you never know in these games. It's not like Georgia has star power, has pass rusher, outside linebacker, and quarterback. You know, that's about as good as you can ask for. Georgia 11th and 12th on offense, so balanced team. Miami 7th and then 1st on defense. So this Miami 2-year run has been nasty. James Cook is actually injured for them. Justin Fields, Micah Parsons, and Kyle Hamilton. Injury report. Well, James Cook looks like the best player out of the group. So both teams are relatively healthy coming in here. Yeah, Miami got to be the favorite. A lot of talent, but hey, Georgia's no pushover with Justin Fields and Micah. Okay, we're going to go through the first quarter here. 7-0 Miami. 10-0 Miami. Oh, God. 13-0 Miami. Georgia's punting again. Oh, James Cook is playing too, actually. Jefferson for 30, Cook for 19, 2nd and 5, 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10. We'll watch right here. Miami could put an absolute stranglehold on this game right here. Trying to win their 3rd natty, 2nd in a row. Throw that out to the flats. Oh my God, Georgia, that's a huge hit there. But that is going to hold Miami to a field goal. It's going to be a 16-point game. Field goal good. So Georgia, you need to get something going here. 4th and inches. They have to punt again. Oh geez. 3rd and 1. They pick it up. 10 yards. James Cook. 3rd and 11 here for Miami. So they have Jerry Jeudy and Justin Jefferson at wide out. This is where you need to go to one of those 2. Your 2 superstar wide receivers. QB drops back, slides, fade away. Oh my God, that was a horrible throw. Georgia going the other way with it, and they got life. The Dogs are alive in the national championship. Eric Sledge with an awful throw there. 5 yards for Fields, hits Everett for 15, 6 yards for Field, minus. Okay, so here, tough spot for the Dogs. probably out of field goal range unless they have a wicked kicker. 3rd and 8. Fields drops back, fires over the middle. He might have fallen for. He did. Ryan Newberry picks up the first down. Huge throw, but there by Fields into the middle of the field, and they complete it. And then he gets picked off the very next play. Oh no. 3rd and 5. Hit it for 15. Penalty. James Cook. Jerry Jeudy for 34. 2nd and 6. 1st and goal from the 2. 315 to 95. We are seeing, if Miami caps this off this season, like how they are looking right now, we are seeing one of the best 2-year runs we've seen in the sim. I can't remember if they were undefeated. I think they were undefeated last year. You know, they're going to win at least 24 games, 26 games in a row here. Yeah, this is a, dynastic, verging on dynastic run for Miami. Winning 2 probably isn't enough, but if they were somehow able to win another one next year, then you're really cooking with gas. 3rd and goal. We're just going to super sim here. Incomplete. They're going to kick their field goal. 19 points here. Georgia has not shown a lot of life on offense. They're going to punt again there. Oh, what happened? Oh, okay, never mind. That was just a minus. Holy crap. 3rd and 20 here. Miami's going to have to punt that. They were just losing yards there. So Georgia gets great field position here. They hit their receiver for 33. 1st and goal from the 9. Oh, from the 2. So Georgia, you need to punch this in right here. It's just out of the half. They're going to do read option, but they lose 4 on the play. Oh, that is awful. Or get down to the back to the 4. Azeez Ojulari with a huge sack, and then they lose -3. Oh God. So all of a sudden it looked like almost a guaranteed touchdown. Now 3rd and goal from the 6. Justin Fields, you need to go Superman right here, brother. Gonna check it down, and there is no shot. Oh my God, he broke 4 tackles and gets shot up in the air. But that is no dice. I would probably go for this. Like 19 to 3 doesn't really do much for me, but Georgia is gonna take the points. 3rd and inches, pick it up, incomplete. 3rd and 6, throwaway. Okay, Georgia, you get ball. They punt it. Okay, Miami's got great field position, but 3rd and 10 here. Sledge, go to Jefferson or Jeudy. You have 2 super duper star wide receivers. Use them. I think that's Jefferson at the top of the screen there. Sliding, going. Oh, that's picked off again by Sledge. He is keeping Georgia in it a little bit here. 8 of 19 for 144 yards and 2 picks, but they're up 16. Justin needs to do something. 2nd and 9, 3rd and 7. He is having trouble. Miami has the best defense, numbers wise in the country, and he is having trouble getting it going against them. They're bringing up safety blitz. Oh my gosh, that was a great play by Fields. Stood in the pocket, had a safety directly coming in his face, stood tall, delivered the football, completed it. 3rd and 3. 1st and 10, 2nd and 1, 1st and 10, 2nd and 12, 3rd and 14. Once again, they had drive going. So Fields has 2 picks as well. Okay, so that's the end of the 3rd quarter. You need a touchdown. A touchdown gets you down 9. So you're still down 2 scores, which is not great, obviously, but you need a touchdown here. Field goal, no. Go for it on 4th downs. You need a touchdown. Fields bringing a big blitz. He stood in against the blitz again and delivered a strike. Fields. And there's a touchdown. Okay, so they went for 2 and they missed it. So they're still down 10. Okay, yeah, 2 actually would have put them down 8. So that did make sense there. They're really going to James Cook here. Then they hit Jefferson for 25, -2. We got 3rd and 5. They can kick a field goal now. This one's probably over. But the Sledge has already thrown 2 picks. If he makes another really bad mistake, you never know for the Dogs. They're going to go underneath to James Cook, and he's going to get tackled. But, very makeable field goal right here for Miami. So field goal's good. That's going to give Georgia a really big tough hole here. 3rd and 3, they pick it up. 2nd and 11, 3rd and 14. Okay, we're going to watch this play, and then we'll probably just super sim the rest. Not the Dogs' day, most likely. It looks like Miami's going to go back to back here. Get it out on the screen. Not going to be enough there. So we're going to go one more. Incomplete. Okay, that is it. So Miami is going to go back to back here, 29-9. And Joe Paterno, I believe it's Joe Pa there, has gone back to back natties. Crazy. So, and they made one in 2015. So they've made, 3 games in the last 7-8 years. This is their third win. They also won one in 93 and then 2020 and 2021. Fields, 2 picks, couldn't really get it going. It was a really tough defense and they just could not crack it. Miami, James Cook, 285 yards on 46 attempts, and he was injured coming into the game. Wow, Sledge was not good. It was the James Cook show. 100%. Wow. So they are lucky he played because they rode him into the ground. Okay, just wrapping up the year. Top 25, Miami 14-0. Tennessee, they've been on the doorstep. They have a really good class coming in next year. I think Georgia, Army, Stanford, Bowling Green, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Washington, Ohio State. Heisman, we already seen. All-Americans. Trevor Lawrence, first team All-American, 4,400 yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks. His first year as a starter. I really hope he comes back next year. James Cook, 1,100 yards, won the Doak Walker this year, 300 yards receiving. Delonte Smith, his last, all his years, 700 as a freshman's not bad at all. He got better each season. Really good career. Won the Blitnikoff this year. Jedrick Wills, Andrew Thomas, Christian Harris at Ohio State, Micah Parsons at Georgia, only a junior, 4 interceptions, 4.5 sacks, just do it all player for Georgia. And that is it. Second team, Jackson, Kyle Pitts, who had 991. Man, if they get him and they need him and Trevor back next year. Penei Sewell, Asante Samuel Jr. at Penn State. A lot of autogen. So freshman, Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma. Jahmyr Gibbs, Iowa, 677. Jackson Smith at A&M, 935. They had 2 freshman wide receivers on the All-American team. Broderick Jones at Miami, national champion. Miles Murphy at Nebraska. And that is kind of it. Josh Downs as a return man at Ohio State. So Trevor Lawrence by far led the country in passing. There's rushing. There's receiving with Delonte Smith and sack leaders. Team stats, points per game. Ohio State, UCLA, Army, Florida Atlantic, Stanford. Defensively, Miami, by far the best defense in the country. So that is, they were really built there and won, on the back of their D. Gonna look at all teams here. So Trev, hopefully he's back. Tua, nice 2 years there. Hopefully Fields is back too. Nice year, obviously got him to the chip. Hopefully, all these guys are juniors, so we could have all 4 of those guys back next year. Joe Milton, okay at Clemson. Running back, DeAndre Swift, done at Bowling Green, 1,000 yards this year. Etienne never broke 1,000. Najee, 743 this year. Damian Pierce at Vandy. Oh my God, they are not using those backs at all. Justin Jefferson, Miami doesn't really throw. They were like a defense, run the ball team. Devontae, we looked at, had a great career. T. Higgins, done. Never really put up the stats. CeeDee Lamb, okay. Jerry Jeudy, once again, same boat as Jefferson. Ruggs, almost 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Jamar, really good first year and then nothing. Jalen Waddle, yeah, these guys, it's weird. The running backs and receivers are not getting used. Kyle Pitts, really freaking good. DNs, Jalen Phillips wraps up his career, 23.5 sacks. Chase Young got injured this year, so only had 4 sacks. Gregory Rousseau, Florida State. Travon Walker at Penn State, only 1.5 sacks in 2 years. Aiden Hutchinson, only a sophomore. He got injured though as well. Aziz for Miami, D tackle. Christian Barrymore at Iowa. Left outside, I don't think we have any middles. No big time middles right now. Right outsides, we looked at Micah. Hopefully he's back for another year. Quay Walker won the Ben Derrick and last year, I believe, not this year. Corners, Jeff Okudah wraps up his career, had 5 picks. AJ Terrell wraps it up at USC. Tyson Campbell at Florida. Asante Samuel Jr., who we looked at. Sauce Gardner, only a sophomore. Free safety, Daxton Hill, South Carolina. Ohio State. And then Javon Holland at Nebraska is a big guy right now, but he could be back for another year. Okay, so we're going to go National Signing Day. This is the last National Signing Day, guys. This is it. The last recruiting class, and we got 2 more seasons, no recruits. They're still going to be recruiting. It'll just be all auto-generated, guys. Okay, National Signing Day. So Caleb, Tennessee, Quinn Ewers, A&M, Shador goes to UCLA, McCarthy, and then Drake May goes to Ohio State. And I don't know if they have anyone after Trevor. Travion, Will Shipley went to North Carolina. We knew that. Wide receiver Xavier, Tennessee, Emeka. Oh, Marvin Harrison flips to Ohio State. He was leaning Tennessee. So they get those two and Drake May. Wow, Ohio State. Jatavion, Brock, Iowa, Joe Alt, Nebraska, Latham, A&M, Donovan Jackson went to Nebraska, Dienz, Dallas Turner, Georgia Tech, Jack Sawyer, Ohio State, JT, Arkansas, Corey Foreman, Stanford. Outsides, Perkins, we knew Texas, okay, so Ohio State had a wicked final class, and then the two corners, McKinstry and Trav, went to Florida. Look at the top classes. So Ohio State, by far the most star power. Florida was more with Travis and McKinstry and then just like a lot of auto gens. But Ohio State, Drake May, Buka, Sawyer, Trotter, Marvin Harrison Jr. is your top 5. That is a ton of talent. Okay, so that wraps up the real life recruiting, guys. We made, I think, by hand, about 1,000 players for this. Which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, but we did it. 1,000. I'm gonna say about 1,000. It was 4. I know I say it in the intro, but I think it was 42 times 23. It was 966 roughly that I made. So we still have 2 more years, but that part is over. Okay, look at the coaches. So Alvarez, Stanford, Bobby Bowden, safe at Florida State, Mac Brown at Texas, Pete Carroll staying at Illinois, Jim Harbaugh, North Carolina State, Woody Hayes staying at Ohio State, Lou Holtz at Army, DC, Don James, Mississippi State, Jimmy Johnson staying at Michigan, Chip is now his OC there, Urban Meyer obviously safe at Florida, Robert Nealon's really starting to pick it up at Tennessee, Ed Orgeron safe, Tom Osborne obviously safe, Joe Pod definitely safe, 13 years, has won back-to-back at Miami, Nick Saban at Duke, Bo safe, Howard safe for now, Kirby Smart, DC at Tennessee, Spurrier, Dabo, Barry Switzer safe at SMU, Kyle Whittingham, and that is it. One thing I wanted to look at was the recruiting, because now the recruiting is done. So we're going to do a deep dive after the last 2 seasons of all the coaches. But so who had the most? So Urban Meyer had a top 25 class, 40 of 42 seasons. Tom Osborne 38, Woody Hayes 37. So those 3 by far were the best recruiters. Barry Smith, Kirby, Joe Pa, Bo. Average recruiting class though, it was actually Woody. Woody actually had the best average class at averaging 8th in the country. I still don't know if I totally buy that. I feel like these 3 would have actually been higher than that. I don't know if the average ranking is totally accurate, but there we go. So that is where we're sitting, guys, with the coaches who got 2 more years. You know, right now I'm actually going to take a break from recording, but it's going to pick up for you guys right now with the 22 class or 22 season, 23 season. We'll probably go through them a little bit quicker as well because there is no recruiting classes. Alrighty, guys, 2022 season. Miami coming off back-to-back natties. We have 2 seasons left. We're going to skip over recruiting. We're not going to look at any recruiting stuff for the next 2 seasons. And I've said it before. Basically, the reason, guys, is if I made a recruiting class now, there's only 2 years left. So they wouldn't even play till next year when they're freshmen. And obviously, as a freshman, like maybe 1 or 2 would even see the field really. And then I'm not going to do the next recruiting class because last year's the next season, and those guys won't even be in the sim for a season. So that is kind of the reason why I stopped 2 years early. So we're going to skip over recruiting. We're just going to get right into the preseason polls. So Miami's coming off back-to-back natties. They are an A+. It looks like their defense and special teams isn't quite as good. Tennessee's coming in, you know, they've had a couple of really good years, but they're only an A-, so we'll see. Nebraska looks really good. Georgia looks all right. Stanford, Ohio State looks really good. Washington, Army, Florida looks really good. Oklahoma's all right. Notre Dame's decent. I think Notre Dame lost Mac Jones, though. Georgia Tech looks really good. A&M, UCLA. Penn State looks really good. Colorado seems a little top heavy like this year. Like there's a few really good teams and maybe not quite as much depth that as we've had in some years. Looking at the Heisman race, Mac Jones is back for 1 more year at Notre Dame. So they're definitely in the running. We got Trevor Lawrence did come back for Ohio State. So Ohio State is loaded depending on how many other guys they lost. Looking at All-Americans, Trevor Lawrence, James Cook, Kyle Pitts at Ohio State, Linderbaum at Iowa, Kayvon Thibodeau at Texas, Christian Harris at Ohio State, Micah Parsons at Georgia, Asante Samuel at Jr. at Penn State. If we go second team, we got Mac, Darnell Washington, sorry. Oh my goodness. Darnell Washington, 868 for USC as a freshman last year. Darnell Wright, a lot of auto gens. Kyle Hamilton at Georgia. And then Josh Downs at Ohio State. So Georgia on defense got Kyle Hamilton, Micah Parsons. It's pretty good to build around. We'll just look quickly at the championship contenders. It only really matters for this year and next. So Ohio State, Florida, Nebraska, Miami, Penn State, probably one of those five, I would guess, will win the next two. Like if the favorites win it, but we'll see. Okay, gonna look at the rosters here. Bama's doing nothing. Army's recruit. They're not really getting. They got Darnell Wright a few years ago. They're getting all auto gens now, but they're doing a good job. They're doing a pretty good job of like actually still creating a decent team out of it. Clemson, do they still have? They have Joe Milton, who's 99 overall as a junior already. Not a ton else though. Florida, Penei Sewell, Drake London, Tyson Campbell, Jamison Williams, George Pickens, CJ Stroud. Is he going to be the starter? He's the starting quarterback this year. So it is going to be Stroud throwing. I mean, so much talent on offense. They are not great defensively. Okay, just okay at running back. Receiver, Drake London, Jamison, George. I hope these guys don't leave early and they play with Stroud for 2 years. And they have a nice junior tight end, so they could have him for the next 2 years as well. So they are loaded offensively. Tyson Campbell, I mean, might be really their only elite defender, so they're really not incredible defensively. They got Kool-Aid and Travis Hunter, right? So they got some corners. One of these two will start in the slot this year. And then both these two are gone, so there's two starters next year. But Florida's not great defensively, not their best overall balanced team, but they should be able to put up some points on offense. Georgia, Micah, Justin Fields, Kyle Hamilton. Will that be enough? Superstar talent. It was enough to make the big game last year. We'll see. Even if they made it, though, if they play a Miami or Ohio State, probably don't have enough to get it done, but go to Miami, or maybe Miami this year, actually. Maybe they're actually, not as good as they've been. They got James Cook, who's like their superstar. Then they actually have a pretty Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter. They have some young guys on defense. Broderick Jones. So they look good, but definitely 84 freshman quarterbacks. I don't think we're going to see a three-peat from Miami. Michigan, Nebraska, can they get a second? They got Jamar Chase, Javon Holland, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Derek Stingley, Trent McDuffie, another 94 corner, D tackles, some linemen, and then they got 91 sophomore. Oh man, are they going to start Marcus Lee? I really hope they start Bryce. Please start Bryce, guys. If not, we'll only get to see Bryce for 1 year. And he's got two nice running backs. Freaking Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson for 1 year together. With Bryce. So really hope Bryce is starting. Their corners, I mean, they're only juniors right now, and they are absolutely insane. By next year, they could all three, if they stay, be 99s, which is just nuts. Nebraska definitely got to be in the hunt, especially if they start Bryce. Looking at Notre Dame, they look pretty good. They got obviously Mac Jones, a 99 quarterback. They did lose his good receivers. They got Skoronski. I can't remember his name. I don't know. Oh my gosh, they have no receivers. They have a good running back, literally no receivers. They have Michael Mayer. So I could see Mayer going for like 1,000 yards this year. Henry Ruggs is who they lost. Ohio State. So they got Kyle Pitts, Aiden Hutchinson, Trevor Lawrence, Breece Hall, Daxton Hill. Those are their 5 best players. They might be the most talented on paper, especially at the top. Like your 3-headed monster on offense, Trevor Lawrence, Breece Hall, Kyle Pitts. You got Aiden Hutchinson rushing the passer, Daxton Hill on the back end, Christian Harris in the middle, Charles Cross, Brian Branch on the back end, Josh Downs as a sophomore for receiver for them, Marvin Harrison Jr. They just brought in Drake May too, so we'll get to see Drake May start for 1 year next year after they lose Trevor, so that'll be kind of cool. Breece. Wide receiver. Yeah, so it's Josh Downs, this Mark guy. Okay, none of these are gone. And then they got Marvin Harrison and Ibuka. So Marvin's actually going to play this year too. And Kyle Pitts. So this team's probably the most talented on paper to me. Oregon State, has Tua. Not a ton else, but they got Tua. Penn State, Jalen Waddle, Asante Samuel Jr., Travon Walker. Did they lose? Oh, they had Levis, and Levis left, I guess, or transferred. I don't know. But so you got this Woodward, who's decent. Woodard. Decent, not as good as obviously Levis would have been. I don't know about Penn State. Like, they're good, but Ohio State should beat them, but we'll see. Tennessee, they lost both their big time wideouts. And didn't they have a QB? Oh, they brought in Caleb Williams. He's not even going to start this year, so they're only going to see Caleb for a year. They did get Xavier Worthy, so they'll be able to put up some points next year, hopefully. Texas, Kayvon. Not much else. A&M, Jaden's going to start for them again. They have a couple of nice linebackers, a corner. They actually have pretty decent depth. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Quinn. Oh, they got Quinn Ewers too. I didn't even realize that. So Quinn we won't see during the sim most likely. There we go. Go down to UCLA. Some talent for sure. Not really national champs. To me, Chad Nolan is their QB. Looks pretty good though, actually. USC, they had a decent run for a few years. They got Bijan, Darnell Washington, Jordan Addison, but I don't think they have a QB. Oh my goodness, they got a 72 quarterback. So yeah, they have no shot. Yeah, Washington was, I don't know. I don't really see it. So that's kind of it, guys. To me, Ohio State kind of stands above the rest. To me, on paper, is the most talented team. But we are going to sim till week 10, and then we'll see where we're at. Okay, so here we are, week 10. Let's look at the top 25. And, oh my goodness, no unbeaten. So 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, 6. Okay, so we got everybody in the running then. You know, nobody's going to have an automatic bid if they finish undefeated. Nebraska and Penn State. Penn State does have 2 losses. Tennessee's already, they lost to Georgia, but they beat Florida. Florida still got to play Georgia. They play 5 ranked opponents in a row. Good luck. Ohio State, Penn State, pretty easy. Miami, they play Georgia Tech. Wow, okay. Florida State or Georgia Tech plays Miami and Georgia. Clemson and Florida. So we have a lot of teams kind of playing each other. I think I'm just going to sim though and let them kind of duke it out. Let's look at Heisman Watch. Mac Jones leading the way. David Turner, Nate Barber. Bryce Young is a sophomore. So Bryce is starting and he's clearly killing it for Nebraska. Look at some stats. So Mac leading the country in passing. Trevor Lawrence, then CJ Stroud in 4th. Damian Pierce at Vandy receiving. That's where we're sitting. Tackles. Micah Parsons 2nd in the country. Sacks. And then interceptions. Look at some team stats here. So Ohio State, Notre Dame, Nebraska, Maryland, Army, Tulsa. Defensively, Hawaii, Miami, Iowa, Florida's got a good defense. So Miami and Florida out of the top teams look like the best Ds, which I don't know. I don't really buy with Florida. Okay, we're just going to sim to conference championship weekend. Okay, conference championship weekend. Let's see where we are at. So Miami, 11-1, number 1 team in the country. So they do have a chance to three-peat. Tennessee, Ohio State, Nebraska. I think that's the game we're going to watch. I don't think even if Nebraska won, they'd be in it. See, unless Nebraska won and one of these 2 losses, but almost Ohio State needs one of those 2 to lose as well. So we're going to watch Ohio State, Nebraska, watch Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence. That's a really good game. Clemson, can they upset this Miami team? Joe Milton. No, they get killed. And then it's Arkansas, Tennessee. Tennessee wins by 2. But Ohio State's playing number 4. So that number 4, everyone has 1 loss. Might be enough to jump. I'd probably put them in Tennessee over Tennessee. But we'll see. So we're going to hop into this one. There's a ton of talent on both teams. These are 2 of the best teams in the country, without a doubt. Okay, so this is where we're sitting. Ohio State, #1 offense in the country, #7 on defense. Nebraska's a little bit more like around the 12 to 18 range for both. Sauce, Derek Stingley, Garrett Wilson, their top 3. Got Aiden, Brees, and Daxton Hill. Injury report, Josh Down and Kyle Pitts, both probable questionable, so they might be playing, but 2 receiver injuries. Their best 2 pass catchers really for Ohio State. Okay, let's go through this. First quarter, Nebraska 7-0. Ohio State trying to drive here. They score 7-7. It was Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh, whoa. Trevor Lawrence pass for a touch. Oh, fumble recovered by Ohio State. So they go up to a 14-7 lead. Nebraska driving. We got a 3rd and 9 here. So Bryce Young throwing to Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson. That's a pretty gnarly trio. Let's see what Bryce can do. You're going to draw it back. A year to throw and he's going to launch it. Oh my goodness. That was a little anticlimactic. Underthrew it by about 10 yards. Ohio State gets the ball back. They get stopped. They punt it back to Nebraska. Ooh, Bryce Young to Garrett Wilson for 36. And then we got a 3rd and 7 on the 35. Out of field goal range, so definitely want to try to punch us in. Right here, if you're Nebraska, under center, drops back, slides, gonna drop that in. Nice throw there for Bryce. Just slid in the pocket, dropped it into Garrett Wilson. He's got a few big receptions on this drive. He's went for 52 on the drive so far. Okay, 2 receivers to the top. Just kind of wishbone under center look. They're gonna do speed option with Bryce. Pitch that out. Oh my gosh, how did that guy catch it? Looks like he just kind of like right in his hands. So there we go. Okay, Nebraska 2nd and 13. We'll sim a play, 5 yards. And they pick it up. Okay, they get a touchdown there. Jamar Chase for a 16-yard touchdown. We got a good game going here. Trevor, Marvin Harrison Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Brees Hall, sacked. Okay, we got a 3rd and 18 here. This definitely could be just a, draw, something like that. But I mean, you have so much talent on this offense. I'd get a little more aggressive. Trev, drop back. Fires it, boom, wide open. Wow, Josh Downs. Man, I don't care who really wins this game out of Ohio State, Nebraska, but I kind of want to see Ohio State in the Natty. I think they'd give Miami a better game than that Tennessee team. 2nd and 15, 3rd and 15. So another 3rd and long. Let's see if they convert here. Okay, Trevor, what do you got? Drops back. Bringing a blitz. You got to get that out. Ooh, that's a bad sack to take way out of field goal range. You're going to have to punt this football. Obviously, Nebraska's got an insane secondary, and it showed up there. 3rd and 2, 2nd and 3rd and 4. Pick it up. 3rd and 5 here for Nebraska. The Huskers. Wishbone. Jamar and Garrett flanking. Gonna go up over the top. Is that Jamar Chase? Boom, inside the 5-yard line. Man, they have so much speed and talent on the outside there. He has a school receiving record for a career. Jamar Chase. They had so many good receivers at Nebraska over this sim. They had Randy Moss, him, Steve Smith, Tyreek Hill, and they have only started throwing the ball the last few years. They had more too, like Deion Branch, like legit nasty, maybe the best, other than Florida, probably the best receivers in the sim. Florida just had so many. Maybe, yeah, like they had Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, all those guys. There it is. Nebraska punches it in. TJ Quinn, that is a big boy right there. And Nebraska, right before the half, goes up 7. Okay, Ohio State, Trevor Lawrence. Wow, just went nuclear there, down to the 7-yard line with 2 back-to-back 30-plus yard passes. Got kind of a trips look to the bottom of your screen here. They're going to hand it off to Brees Hall, and he explodes into the end zone. They went down the whole field in about 45 seconds there. Okay, I'm just going to sim through this quarter here. So, yeah, Nebraska gets stopped. Let's see. We're going to go through this a bit here. 28-21. Oh, 2 big touchdowns there. Was that a kick return? Trevor Lawrence hits McMahon for a 61-yard touchdown. Nebraska's down, but they are driving here. We got a 3rd and 3. About 50 seconds left in the half, but Nebraska needs to make something happen here. They're going to run speed option. Bryce up the middle. Nice play by Bryce. Kind of the perfect fit for this Nebraska offense. Runs, but it's not his main thing. Really good thrower. No, it's a good combo. Okay, same thing. Little play action. Get that out to the flat. Only gain about a yard. And hurry up here. 30 seconds left in the half. Like to cut this down to 7 right here. Run speed right up the middle. Oh my gosh, falls forward for 5. So that makes it a very third manageable here. Still going hurry up. They got 20 seconds left in the half. I'd like to go outside to either Garrett or Jamar here. Oh, speed option again. Oh, an Ohio State. Oh, 4th and 6. You could kick a field goal, go down 11. I'd probably go for it, but they are going to go for it. Bryce under center, Jamar and Garrett flanking them. Going, oh, Jamar's wide open. There it is. Absolutely lost the Ohio State corner. Bryce Young, 292 yards in his first year as a starter. Wow. Okay, now let's see what Trev, if he can answer. 3rd and 3. They pick it up. Marvin Harrison Jr. back to back. This kid is killing it. 25 yards, 29 yards. Extra point is good, and that might put this one a little ways out of reach. We'll see. Oh, yeah, Nebraska's going to punt here. 3rd and 8. They pick it up. Marvin Harrison again. Egbuka. Incomplete. We'll watch from here. Drop by Marv. But Marv has definitely got over 100 yards today. This guy's a true freshman. Absolutely killing it. Okay, Trev drops back. Fires it underneath. Oh, I think, is that Josh Downs? And I think he picked it. Oh, 4th and inches. No, that was Maurice Mark. Are they going to go for it? Field goal. Yeah, that's going to put him up 3 scores with, 3:44 left. That's going to do it. I mean, is this going to be enough? Oh, wow. Jamar for a 41-yard touchdown. And there it is, final. Okay, so Ohio State holds on, gets it done. That is a very good Nebraska team who gave Ohio State all they could handle. So Trev, 372, 4 touchdowns. Brees, 123 on the ground. Receiving, Marvin Harrison got 100. He was their big receiver today. Nebraska, look at their top 2. And Jamar had 4 touchdown receptions, 136 yards, 125 for Garrett. Bryce, they couldn't really run the ball. Bryce killed it. This guy's a sophomore in doing that. Okay, so we'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be Tennessee. I really want it to be Ohio State, Miami, though. I just don't think Tennessee is very talented this year. That is the only reason. So David Turner wins the Heisman. Joe Milton 2nd. Mac Jones 3rd. Trevor Lawrence 4th. Oh, they did go Ohio State, Miami. Okay, so I'm sorry, Vols fans. I'm hating on Tennessee or anything. I just don't think on paper they're up to par. Oh, Caleb actually was playing a bit this year. Next year with Caleb and who did they get? They got Buddy from Texas who just ran the crazy 40. But yeah, they were 3-1 loss teams. They went for Ohio State and Miami trying to 3-peat. But this Ohio State team definitely has more talent than Miami. But this would be pretty crazy just like run here for Miami. Obviously getting a 3-peat plus. This would just be a crazy way to end the sim for them. All of a sudden they'd have 4 natties. Ohio State is at, their last win was 06, but they do have 5. So this is their chance for their 6th, which would tie Florida and UCLA for the most in the sim. So yeah, right now Florida and UCLA have 6. A&M and Ohio State have 5. Then for Miami, this would be their 4th win. They also won in 93. So let's get into this one. I'm gonna guess Ohio State. This Miami team is not as good as they've been the last 2 years, but I mean, make 3 in a row. They have every chance to win this one. It's not like they're bad. They don't have the great quarterback. I don't know. I'm guessing Ohio State, but we'll see. All right, so looking at the stats, Ohio State's still the number 1 offense, pretty good on defense, where Miami's the number 1 defense, and then just okay on offense. So number 1 defense versus number 1 offense. Ohio State definitely has more talent, but hey, Miami, they're trying to go on a crazy run. I don't know if we've had a 3-peat, actually. I can look at this really quickly. A&M went back-to-back once. Ohio State went back-to-back. So we've never had a 3-peat, and we've only had 2 back-to-backs. So this would be really historic for the sim. Would be the first 3-peat over this 43-year sim. Okay, we're going to go through the first quarter here. No score. Miami goes down and scores. Ohio State answers. Miami goes down and scores again. Let's see if Ohio State can go down and answer, hitting some big plays. Brees. Ooh, big penalty, 3rd and 14 here. So they had a really nice drive going, had back-to-back bad plays. Now you're in 3rd and 14 against the #1 defense in the country. Let's see though. I mean, Ohio State's so much talent on offense. Trevor stepping up, gonna have to check that down. Oh, actually Brees had a lot of room there if he was able to stay in bounds and turn it upfield, but that is probably gonna have to be a punt here for Ohio State. They do. James Cook, Medlock, James, they're just gonna ride James Cook. Wow, we might, oh my god, 1st and goal from the 1, and they score. So 21-7 lead here for Miami. Marvin Harrison Jr. for 23, 3rd and 8 here. Probably out of field goal range. Ohio State, they're on the ropes a little bit here. It is go time for the Buckeyes. Drops back, checks it down to Brees. Oh, that's a great job by Brees, and he breaks the tackle and he's gone. Brees Hall down to the 1-yard line. Oh my. He's just put on the afterburners there, accelerated, and Trevor Lawrence gets in the next play to get them back into this one. But Ohio State's defense got to do something here because Miami's just kind of going up and down the field on them. Finally, they get them into more of a long down and distance here. Yeah, it's kind of the James Cook show. They lost Judy, they lost Jefferson, they lost their QB. They're going to hand it off to Cook here. Yeah, they were just going to, yeah, they're not going to get too wild on that play call. Okay, punting it away. Incomplete. Josh Downs for 25. Josh Downs for 29. Throwaway. 3rd and 2 here from the 2-yard line. Aiden Hutchinson has 2 TFLs so far. So Ohio State trying to tie it up right before the half here. They're going to hand it off to Brees, who's got an edge. Oh, that's a great job by the corner or safety coming up and making that tackle, get it down to 4th and inches. I'd go for this if I was Ohio State, but I doubt they will. They don't. They kick that field goal. Miami's got 30 seconds. Yeah, they can't get anything going. Okay, we got halftime here. So here, Miami driving, interception in the end zone. Oh, wow, that is tough. And then he hits Josh Downs for a 47-yard touchdown, and my Ohio State was down 21-7 earlier in the game, and now they are up. They've scored 17 straight points. 3rd and 6, Miami gets stopped again. Trev hits Josh Downs for 16, hits Ibuka for 30. Oh, fumble recovered by Miami. Okay. We'll hop in and watch some of these here. Okay, here's a 3rd and 5 for Miami. Just kind of a back and forth game here. Ohio State 3-point lead. Miami's got to start getting something going on offense. They're really good in the first quarter. Have not been doing much of anything since. They got a screen set up to James. He's got blocking out in front. James Cook picks up about 9 to 10 yards on that 3rd and 5. Great play call there. I don't mind the screens in this game on the 3rd and 5s, whatever, but they tried a lot on 3rd and 10s and stuff, and it just almost never works. Okay, here it is again, 24-21, drops back, fires that over the middle. That's a nice throw there. Great throw. Okay, now maybe Miami's got a little bit of life here, a little bit of, a little bit of momentum. We have a sophomore 84 overall quarterback who seems to be playing pretty well. Gonna fire that over the middle for another completion, and Miami is marching. Hurrying to the line again. They are not giving Ohio State any time to breathe. They got a little bit of momentum, and they are gonna keep going with it. Drops back, fires that to another slant. They're just hitting these slants, posts over the middle for chunk yardage over and over, and not letting Ohio State breathe. They got to be gassed on the back end of this defense right now. Miami again drops back, another completion. Wow, I'm impressed here with this drive from Miami. They're fine. Oh no, still hurry up. Kellen Carey, 247, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick so far. Good chance he gets 350 yards in the natty. That is nothing to sneeze at for a sophomore quarterback. Gonna hand it off to James Cook. Breaks 1 tackle down to about 3rd and 2. Okay, we'll sim here. Oh, there. Next pass, they hit a 16-yard touchdown. So that was an incredible drive from Miami. Get it done. Pressure's back on Ohio State. Josh Downs incomplete. Got a 3rd and 7 here for the Ohio State. Trying to tie Florida and UCLA for the most national championships of the sim. Fires that underneath on the screen pass. Wow, Maurice Mark. Okay, so big pass there for Ohio State. Keep driving. 3rd and 7. Okay, they get stopped. Miami gets the ball back. James Cook going off. 4 straight to James. They hit it for 22. They first and goal. Okay, second and goal. Watch from here. So Miami has a chance to go up 2 scores. If you're Ohio State, you have to hold them to a field goal here. You cannot let them get a touchdown. Fires over the middle. Maybe gain a few yards on that play, and it's going to be 3rd and goal here for Miami from about the 5-yard line. If you're Ohio State, you can hold them to 3 here. You know, it's a 7-point ball game, or they score a touchdown. You got to get 2 scores in the last 7 minutes. QB's going to run and he's going down. So they are going to hold him to a field goal. That's really big. So here it is, field goal for Miami, and they nail it. Okay, let's keep going. Now the pressure is squarely on. Okay, they hit Josh Downs for 41 yards, Breece Hall for 11. 10-yard penalty, 3rd and 12 for Miami. Out of field goal range. Even to get it down to a field goal, you need about 8 yards probably. But I mean, if you're Ohio State, you have so much talent. You need to go for broke here. Go score a touchdown. Trevor slides. Oh, that's picked off. Picked off by Miami with 5 minutes left. Up 7. Trying to three-peat. Oh my goodness. They could literally put it on ice right here, but they get him down to 3rd and 8 real quick. Wow. Trevor on 3rd and 12 tries to force that into a tight window. Okay, drops back, pressure, picked. Oh, could have been picked off, but it doesn't matter that much. They brought pressure in the QB's face. He tried to throw that corner out. They're going to have to punt it off. Okay, so, and then he hits Igbuka for 27, but Miami could have ended it right there if they got a touchdown or even a field goal maybe, but here we go. Ohio State, they threw the pick, but they're right back in it. They're already past where they were. 3rd and 3 here. Okay, Trevor drops back, fires it in the middle. There we go. So there it is. Huge stop for Miami. Most passing yards in a game. He's got 550 right now, but they've only scored, 24 points. Okay. Empty right here for Lawrence. Drops back. Got a guy open just. Oh, okay. And then he kind of breaks the tackle. There's Kyle Pitts with a 9-yard reception. Okay. 1st and goal from the 6. And they score the next play. Josh Downs touchdown to tie it up. Okay. Miami ball. James Cook throwaway. Here's a 3rd and 4. You really don't want to just give Ohio State back the ball right here. This is a massive play. Motion the tight end across the field. They're bringing a blitz. Fade away. Oh my gosh, that could have been a pick. What are they calling the flag for? Pass interference. Pass interference on the defense. You never see flags in this game. Okay, so Miami kind of gets gifted a 1st down there, but we'll see. Whoa, 15-yard. Somehow Ohio State got the ball back. Okay, I think that was a glitch. 15-yard penalty against the defense, and then they just gave the ball to Florida or Ohio State. Josh Downs. I literally don't know what happened there. Somehow Ohio State got the ball back, and now it's 3rd and 12 with a minute and a half left. I literally have no idea. That was super weird. Here, pressure. He's going up over the top. Oh, 1st and goal from the 5. He hit Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh my God, that was a crazy throw. I literally don't understand. Trevor Lawrence has 614 yards passing, -2. 5-yard penalty, 3rd and goal from the 1 with a minute left. Miami does have 3 timeouts. I don't know what happened there. Miami probably should have used one of their timeouts here. Trevor, he's going to tuck it and run, and he's going to get in. Oh my goodness. I don't know if that was a glitch. I don't know what happened there. I don't understand how Ohio State got the ball back, but they just score with 57 seconds left, and Miami is on the brink. They hit for 13, sack for -11. We got 3rd and 20. They hit it. They complete on 3rd and 20. 14 seconds. They are going to need an absolute miracle here. Snap the ball, snap the ball, snap the ball, snap the ball. Drops back. You got to uncork it. Oh, that's picked off. There it is. Huge stiff arm there. And Ohio State, I'm not sure how they got the ball back, but Ohio State beats Miami. You got it, guys. This is an old game. Sometimes it can be really glitchy with the sim. Something weird, I don't know, might have happened, but Ohio State wins their 6th national championship. I do think they were the better team. So they tie UCLA and Florida. So we're down to the final season. If either Ohio State or Florida can win their 7th, that would be wild. But Miami comes that close to getting a three-peat, but they come up short. I don't know if I've seen our QB in one of these sims throw for 614. 16.5 yards per throw. He also ran for 2 touchdowns. What a day in Trevor Lawrence's last college football game. Josh Downs had 242 receiving yards. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a big day. Like, this guy's a freshman, had a great season. Great season. Miami, at least in the games we watched. Carey is a redshirt freshman. He did throw 3 picks, but I mean, he played really well. James Cook was kind of the engine for their offense, and Patterson played really well as a receiver. Okay, so wrapping this second last season up, somehow Miami's the number 1 team. I don't know. Ohio State, Tennessee finishes with 1 loss on the year. Tulsa 1 loss as well. Heisman we've seen. We'll go All-Americans here. Mac Jones, first team All-American. Won a ton of awards over his career. Had 4,600 touchdowns, 53 touchdowns, 3 picks, and he ran for 700 yards. So Mac Jones was incredible this year. Breece Hall is junior, 986. He also had 594 on the ground. McDonald, freshman wide receiver, a 76 overall freshman wide receiver, had 1,677 receiving yards. Okay. Cross, Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson for Ohio State, still back for 1 more year too. Wow, if he comes back. Christian Harris wins a Ben Derrick this year. Micah Parsons, so this is Micah's final stats, had 10 picks, 19.5 sacks, bunch of tackles, forced fumbles, pass deflections. He did it all. A lot of auto gens after that. Second team, Trevor Lawrence, 4,400 yards, 50 touchdowns, 3 picks, plus 529 yards on the ground and 6 touchdowns. So Lawrence was incredible. James Cook, 1,392 yards plus 397 on the receiving. So Marvin Harrison Jr., second team All-American with 898 yards. Wow. And then Jamison Williams for Florida, almost 1,200. Michael Mayer, I knew he was going to have a huge year. 1,253 for Notre Dame. Keep going down. A lot of auto gens. Brian Branch as a returner at Ohio State. Travion Henderson for JMU, 711. We saw Marv Ends JT at Arkansas, 7 sacks as a freshman. A lot of auto gens. Kool-Aid and Travis are the 2 freshman corners. So Mac, Trevor, CJ, top 3 passers in the country for yards. There's receiving. Tackles, Micah gets second. Sacks. Interceptions. Team stats. Points per game. Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tulsa, Army, Clemson. Defensively, Miami, Hawaii, Iowa, Army, Ohio. So now we don't have National Signing Day, so we are just going to continue on to look at the coaches. And then at the start of the next year, which is going to be the 2023 season, which is going to be the last final year of the sim. 43 years down, absolutely crazy. So let's sim to there. Okay, let's look at our coach info. So we're going to break down this really in depth at the end of the season here, because that will be the last season, obviously. So Barry, Bobby Bowden at FSU, Mac Brown, Pete Carroll at Illinois, North Carolina State for Jim, Woody Hayes, obviously safe, Lou Holtz, Don James at Mississippi State, Jimmy Johnson safe for now at Michigan, Chip Kelly is his OC, Urban safe at Florida, Robert Nealon safe at Tennessee. He's actually had a really good run here at Tennessee over the last bit. Ed Orgeron, LSU, Tom Osborne, Joe Pa safe at Miami, Gary Patterson, Nick Saban at Duke, Bo Schembechler safe for now, Schnellenberger, Kirby Smart, Steve Dabo, Barry Switzer, Kyle Whittingham. So that is our coaches. Not a ton of movement. Everyone's kind of more locked in now that we're so far in. Okay, so we are just going to start the next season. So this is it, guys, 2023. If you guys have watched all of this or even part of it, you've gotten to this point, I thank you. This was crazy. I've been planning to try to do this for like, a month before I finally committed to it, to sit down here and record 43 of these seasons, make all the recruiting classes. I also have to come up with the recruiting classes beforehand. I have to do all the research and figure out, okay, what 23 players do I want to have for each year? So that is a huge process. I really thank anybody who watched. So here it is, the final year preseason polls. Miami comes in A+, one of the best teams in the country. Ohio State, defending national champs, A+. Nebraska, A+. Notre Dame, decent. Tennessee, Penn State looks okay. Florida, A+. To me, it is one of those four teams. Miami, Ohio State, Nebraska, Florida. Those are the four best teams to me, kind of without a doubt. I'd be shocked if at least one of those four isn't in the big game. And if one of Florida or Ohio State can get it done, they will be have the most natties of the sim. If not, we'll have a three-way tie with UCLA, Florida, Ohio State. Joe Milton coming in as the Heisman favorite, then Bryce Young in second. Preseason All-Americans, we got Joe Milton, we got Michael Mayer, we got Charles Cross, Darnell Wright, Aiden Hutchinson, Christian Harris. There we go. Second team, Bryce Young, Jahmyr Gibbs at Iowa, who had a pretty nice year. Marvin Harrison Jr., Evan Neal. A lot of auto gens for defense. Okay. Don't care about championship contenders. This is it. This is all that's left, guys. We are going to sim to week 10, and then we'll see where we're at. Okay, so week 10, let's take a look. Miami. Wow. Miami 7-0. This team just does not, and they play one ranked team. Tennessee 8-0, led by Caleb Williams. They play Ohio State this week. Ohio State, Tennessee, Penn State, back-to-back weeks. That's a tough stretch. Nebraska, Penn State, Iowa, Georgia Tech, Miami, still Army, Ohio. Did Florida lose? I mean, they did. 3 losses, so Florida's out of it. 100%, they are out. They have no shot. So Ohio State has the best chance to jump everyone. They have a tough stretch here. I think we're just going to sim through and just kind of see where we end up. Drake May leading the Heisman race right now. CJ Stroud in 5th. Season stats. So Stroud and May 1 and 2 in the country in passing. There's rushing. Receiving, Jamison Williams and Josh Downs 1 and 3. Tackle leader, sack leaders, interception leaders. Okay, so we are just gonna sim to conference championship weekend. We'll see where we're at. Okay, conference championship weekend. Let's see where we are at. Miami undefeated Tennessee Army. Okay, so it's basically set then, because Georgia Tech, A&M, Florida 3 losses, Nebraska 1 loss versus Ohio State 2 losses. So they're both basically out because Army doesn't have a game. So if either of Tennessee or Miami gets in or loses, the other, Army will just replace them. So it's basically a matchup of those 3 teams. So if Tennessee and Miami win, we're going to see them next week anyway. So let's see. So Tennessee wins. They beat LSU. Miami, if they beat Florida State, they'll be going to their 4th in a row. They won an OT, sneak it out, and Miami is going to make their 4th national championship in a row, trying to win their 3rd in 4 years. Now, this natty is going to be interesting. We see Caleb Williams up on the screen. He's going to be a sophomore leading Tennessee to a national championship. They're going to be the underdog. They will not be as talented, but Tennessee, they've lost 4 games in 4 years. They haven't made a natty. This is their first one. I think their first make of the sim. They definitely haven't won one. But this would be massive. Miami trying to win their 4th of the sim, which would put them right near the top. So Drake May wins the Heisman as a sophomore. Man, they had if this sim was keep going, next year they would have still had a Mecca, Drake May, and Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State. So it's gonna be Tennessee. Tennessee, Miami. Tennessee, isn't uber talented, but you got Caleb Williams trying to win a national championship here. 13-0 versus 13-0 is anybody's game. You look at really good offensively for Tennessee, not very good defensively. Both teams are better offensively though, but Miami always has a really good defense. I'd be shocked if they're not like top 5 in points per game right now. Yeah, so they're actually number 3 and number 4 defensively for both. Miami does have a bit better offense on paper. Caleb Williams, that's his stats. Xavier Worthy, Jalen Carter, Conley, Broderick Jones. So neither team has crazy injuries, pretty healthy coming into the big game. So this is it, guys, the final national championship of the sim. 43 of these bad boys down. We already got it locked, like I said, on what was the best or most overall natties, but Miami winning 4, that would put them right. I think Oklahoma maybe has 4. Yeah, I think OU has 4. I think they're the only team. Army is 3. Yeah, so this would put Miami right there with OU for kind of like 5th most over the sim. Okay, we're gonna go through the first quarter. A lot of orange out here today. 3-0 Tennessee, 7-3. Ooh, and they're driving here. 2nd and 1. Got it in. Okay, so 14-3. Miami really, or Tennessee really needs Caleb. Couple of big passes there. 2nd and 5. 3rd and 5. So Caleb Williams, it's go time here, buddy. You need a touchdown. You need to get back in this. It looks like they run a bit of this triple option stuff too. So Caleb drops back, checks that down. You need to get a first. That's a great open field tackle by the Miami defender. 4th and 1 is this. They're going to go for this. So now, this is the play of the day so far. Gonna motion a guy. They're going to do a little toss. Wow, they get the, oh my God, that guy almost cost himself that. He like went outside for no reason. You need a yard. -3, 4 yards, 3rd and 8, 4th and 8. They went for a field goal and missed it. Oh no, Miami could, oh my gosh. Miami just hits 3 straight 25-yard plus passes, and all of a sudden Miami can take a stranglehold on this game over Tennessee. Over the Vols, hand it off, and Miami is feeling like they're a little overpowered in this game. But it isn't over. 5:41 left. They need to start doing something right here, though. 3rd and 7. Caleb, what do you got? You got some magic in your right arm, buddy. So they are coming from the, Tom Osborne tree. They're in this triple option stuff. That actually looked. Wow, I was about to say that actually looked like a Caleb Williams play, except it hit his receiver in the hands. Okay, so Miami has a chance. Okay, so Tennessee gets to stop. Xavier Worthy for 22, 2nd and 13, 3rd and 7. We're going to sim. Hits him for 29, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal from the 2. I'm going for it for sure on this. Either way, you want to get it down to 21-10. 21-6 doesn't do much for you. Caleb, hand it off, and he's in. Wow, he absolutely truck sticked the corner there. Okay, go. Okay, and then Tennessee gets a stop. Bulls get the ball. Couple of big passes, 3 big passes, 4 big passes, and they score. Wow, all of a sudden it's 21-6, 17. Couple of big plays there. 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 1st and 10 from the 16 with 20 seconds left. Miami's got 1 timeout. Hurry here. You want to get this off. 21-17, 14 seconds, 13, 12, drops back, sliding, gonna tuck it and run. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, and they got absolutely rocked. That was a great scramble there. You still have a timeout. Use your timeout, guys. I don't understand. You better snap it. Oh God. You're gonna run out of time. Oh my gosh. Wow, they got so lucky. That should have been picked, and there's still 1 second left. That was lucky for Miami. Field goal is good. They're back up 7. Tennessee football with Caleb. 2nd and 6, 3rd and 8. They get stopped. Miami football. Okay, we're just going to go through the 3rd quarter here. 24-17, 24-17, 27-17. Tennessee football. 2nd and 11 here to start the 4th. 3rd and 1. They pick it up. 2nd and 13. 3rd and 11 here for Caleb. Down 10. It's a doable score still. Caleb in shotgun. Gotta do something right here though. Sliding, gotta fire that over the middle. Oh my gosh, kind of trucked a guy, and he's gonna be almost in down to the 5-yard line. Tennessee is just hanging around. They do not have the talent of Miami, but they are doing what it takes, and they score. It is a 3-point game with 6 minutes left. 2nd and 13, 2nd and 33, 3rd and 26. 4th and 18. Okay, so Tennessee is about to get this ball back with 5 minutes left. 3rd and 8 here for Caleb. 219 and a touchdown. He's only a sophomore. What do you got? Pistol look. Drops back. Slides. He's going for it all. Going for broke. Under through his receiver by about 10 yards. When they hold the ball too long in this sim, like in the NCAA 14, they try to throw it deep. It almost is that like a pick every single time. Okay, Miami, 3rd and 3 here. Your offense has been okay. 3 of 11 on 3rd down. So they have not been able to keep drives going. That has really let Tennessee hang around. They're going to hand this off, and they do pick up the 1st down there though. Okay, keeping it rocking here. Hand this ball. Oh, play action. Sets up. He's going to tuck it and run. There. Oh my gosh. This guy gets absolutely destroyed every time he runs. But there's only 3:53 left. I don't know why they're going hurry up. Okay, going to hand this off. No, play action. Drop it out to the sideline. Out of bounds. But, I mean, 3:38 left. Here we go. 3:38. Gonna hand this off again. 4 yards. Keeping the pressure on, not letting Tennessee breathe. Not the best strategy, honestly. You really want to be eating clock here. Might as well huddle up, but their running back is pretty gassed right there behind him too. So you got to be kind of careful here. Don't fumble if you're Miami. Okay. Oh, they're going to throw a little screen pass to the outside. He's about a yard short of the 1st down. Hey, and they are hurrying it up again still. 3rd and 1. Okay. Oh my goodness. They're passing on 3rd and 1 here, and they complete it. Wow. Tennessee just can't get off the field. Only down 3. 2-yard rush. 3rd and 11 here. Okay, so 2 minutes left, 3rd and 11. They're out of field goal range. So, even if they got like just below the 1st down, I don't think they're in field goal range. So, it is very interesting. Huge down. Tennessee, you have a chance to go get your team the ball back. Okay, drops back. Gonna check that down, but well short. Well short. So, Tennessee, you are gonna get this ball back. Yeah, you did it back. 125, 2nd and 10. 1st and 10. It's Xavier Worthy for 18. 2nd and 10. Hits Xavier Worthy for 14. All of a sudden, there's a minute left. Caleb Williams has a chance to go drive and win this right here. 56 seconds left. Gonna do a toss. Oh my gosh. Somehow he even got the edge there. It did not look like he was gonna be able to turn the corner. I mean, a field goal, obviously, you can tie it up. Like, if I'm going Tennessee, I'm going for the freaking jugular here. You need 26 yards to go win this whole bad boy. Caleb drops back. He's going up over the top. That's a touchdown. Xavier Worthy. Caleb Williams. It was a blown coverage by Miami on the back end. And they are an extra point away from being up 4 points with 47 seconds left. We're going to, okay, throw away. Okay, we'll watch from here. 31 seconds, Miami. This would be a heartbreaking loss. Tennessee, a chance to win their 1st national championship of the sim with Caleb Williams. They fired over the middle. He's going to be short. They do have 3 timeouts, but they need a touchdown. A field goal does nothing for them. They need a Miami miracle right here, or their, chance at 3 and 4 years is done. They're going to lose 2 in a row. And Tennessee is going to win their 1st and only national championship of the sim. Fires it over the middle. That could have been picked off, and that is it. Turnover on downs, and Tennessee gets it done. Miami comes up short. Had a chance to win their 4th of the sim. Caleb Williams, as a sophomore, wins it. Wow. Crazy finish. Great last drive there by Tennessee. Hits, their 2 stud sophomores. Williams takes Xavier Worthy in his 4.2 140 speed. Gets it done. Wow. Shocking upset. Carey played honestly pretty good. Couldn't really get the run game going. Clayton was good for them. Xavier Worthy, true sophomore, 104 yards and the game-winning touchdown. Caleb Williams, true sophomore as well, 278, 2 scores, game-winning touchdown throw, also at 11 yards on the ground. So Tennessee gets it done. Okay, guys, so that is the last game of the sim. Now, we are going to look at just kind of the year, the wrap it up stuff. So we are going to look here at final bit of this season, all the wrap up stats. We're going to look at, the final player stats as well. Then I want to go look at the record book so we can see what records were broken over the sim. Then I'm actually going to sim through the offseason to the start of next season, just so we can look at the coaches. So then all the coaching stuff will be wrapped up. And then we'll look at the final coaching stuff, and that will be it. Top 25, Tennessee, number 1 team, Miami, A&M, Penn State, Army, Florida, Hawaii, Ohio State. Heisman, we knew Drake May won it. All-Americans, Drake May, first team All-American, first year as a starter, wins the Heisman. Really 685 on the ground too. A lot of auto-gens, Cross, Darnell Wright, Aiden Hutchinson, really nice career at Ohio State. Christian Harris had a really good career too, man. He was an All-American a ton. Derek Stingley won the Thorpe this year, 4 picks. Brian Branch, 5 picks at safety. Second team, Jameson, 1,518 yards this year. Sharp got it, 1,386. Michael Mayer, 1,000 yards, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for him. A lot of auto gens the rest of the way. So, passing leaders, CJ Stroud, Drake May led the country. Rushing, receiving, Jamison Williams led the country. Tackles, sacks, interceptions. Team stats, points per game, Army, UCLA, Florida, Georgia Tech, Miami. Defensively, Fresno State, Army, Penn State, Miami, Tennessee. Okay, look at some of our just best players of the sim. I cannot believe we got through it all, boys. Crazy. So Joe Milton, 25 touchdowns, no picks this year. They didn't throw the ball a ton, but Bryce got injured, unfortunately. Looks like he was having a great year. Actually up in yards per game throwing, 16 touchdowns, no picks. Too bad. He had 1,000 yards rushing the year before, was doing about the same this year, so that's too bad. DJ, I forgot about DJ. Went to Georgia Tech, had a nice run. Anthony Richardson, West Virginia, nice little run. CJ this year led the country in passing, 45 touchdowns, 8 picks. They had a wicked offense. Running back Breece Hall wraps up his career 980 again this year with 447. So good all around back. Jahmyr Gibbs, 1,100 yards, 285 on the ground. Tennessee's running back was actually really good this year. So they had kind of a 3-headed monster. He won the Doak this year. Really nice career. Bijan at USC. Ooh, they barely use him, man. Like legit. Wide out, Drake London, 787. George Pickens. Yeah, it was like they were really going to, they had the 3 best receivers in the country. They were really going to Jameson. Garrett Wilson, not huge. Njigba, nice. Downs got hurt. He was having a great year, and he got hurt both years. Look at his yards per game. That's too bad. Jordan Addison, 1,000 yards. Tight end, Musgrave, 686. Darnell, 8. He had 3 really nice years. But Michael Mayer, his last 2 years were insane. Brock Bowers at Iowa, they just don't throw the ball. Jatavian Sanders at Miami, 676 is pretty good. Left end, Kayvon, 3.5 sacks. Travon, 7 sacks. Will, 6.5 this year. BJ, 2.5. JT, 8.5 over his career so far. Aiden, we looked at him, nice career. Miles Murphy, 4 sacks this year. Jack Sawyer at Ohio State, not getting a lot of playing time right now. D tackle, Mozzie Smith, there's his stats. Brian Brissy at Navy, gonna be a Navy boy, Navy man. Jalen Carter at Miami, 2.5 sacks this year. Middle, Christian Harris we looked at, he's kind of the big middle linebacker right now. Harold Perkins, not crazy, still super young. Sauce. So Sauce finished with 7 picks, Derek finished with 7 picks, and Trent finished with 5. So never huge stats for any of them, but I mean, look at how good that top corner group is. Free safety, we looked at Branch, and then strong safety, Kyle Hamilton. Those are his final stats. So that is where we're sitting, guys. Okay, now I quickly want to look at NCAA records. So individual game, I think like these will be hard to tell. I think the best way, individual season. Okay, so if they're in brackets, so see how it's Tom Brady, Cal, that means it happened in the sim. So Brady has the most passing touchdowns ever with 61 in a season. Tim Tebow at Florida during this sim had the most highest passer rating of all time. Rushing yards over a career or over a season was Gooden at Baylor over this sim. If you look at career passing touchdowns, Tim Couch at Florida, and then rushing yards over a career, Thurman Thomas in the 80s at Baylor. Those were the two records there. Coaching career, Barry Switzer, bowl appearances, 43. So Barry had a bowl appearance every year, and that is an all-time record. Bowl victories, like these are our versions, right? Because if it's the A, so Barry A. Switzer, one bowl appearances, bowl victories, and career victories. Urban Meyer has the most career victories in college football history. But and then they would have tied Bear Bryant with 6 national championships. Nick Saban has 7, but in this sim, Nick Saban never happened. So Bear Bryant is tied with Woody Hayes and Urban Meyer with 6 national titles, and they just finished behind. If we would have went for 47 years, so 3 more years, they would have passed Joe Paterno, and they probably would have caught him in games coach too. Yeah, team game, I don't think we'll have any of those. So that is it, guys. There we are. There's the records. Last thing we're going to do is I'm going to sim to the start of the next season. We're going to look at coaches, and we're just going to go over a really deep dive into all the coach stuff, and then that will wrap it up. Okay, here it is. Coach info one last time. So Barry, Bobby, Stade, Mac, Pete, Woody, Lou, Don James, Chip, Urban, Robert Nealand, Ed, Tom, Joe Pa. I was just seeing if anybody got Gary Patterson, OC now at Nebraska, Bo, Schnellenberger, Kirby, yeah, so nobody really got any new hires. So we're just going to go through, look at years with the team. So 4 of our guys made it the whole way. Woody, Tom, Urban, and actually 3, sorry, myself. I made it with Air Force all the years, but I obviously didn't do anything. So Florida, Tom, Woody, that is it. Those 3. Then we had Bo, who actually was at Penn State forever. 28 years of the sim. They had Bo Schembechler. Howard Schnellenberger right there with him. Then, actually, we just want head coaches for this. Joe Pa was at Miami for a long time. He ended up winning 2 national championships there as well. So those were the guys, the 3 guys who really went to another. I mean, Robert Nealand was starting to pick it up at Tennessee too. He did win a national championship there, even though he got fired and got rehired. Now, career record, 498 wins with 100 losses for Urban Meyer. Woody Hayes, 477, 460 for Nebraska. Then it's a pretty big drop. Like those 3, a cut above the rest. Joe Paul and Schnellenberger, then Schembechler, then Robert Nealand, Barry Alvarez, Pete Carroll, Don James, Ed Orgeron. Then if we go record with current team, we don't really care about that as much. Okay, winning season. So Urban and Woody had a winning season every single year. Nebraska had 2 losing seasons. Or maybe, I can't remember. Is it 4? Okay, so they each had 1 losing season actually, because we had 44 seasons. Longest winning streak. So Joe Pa actually took it down. So Woody Hayes had it forever, but over his one where he made 3 in a row, Joe Pa actually has the record over the sim with 28 straight wins. Conference championships, 18 for Urban, 18 for Woody Hayes. Then Tom had it 12. So between Woody Hayes and Tom Osborne, they won 30 of 44 Big Ten championships. So they dominated the Big Ten, those 2. Then when you throw in, how many did Schembechler won 4, plus when Joe Pa was there, it was probably Penn State won most of the other ones. Natties, 6 for Urban, 6 for Woody. And then as a group, UCLA also won 6. Joe Pa won 3. Because he actually won 2 at Miami and then 1 at Penn State. Tom won, Robert Nealand won. And those were our only coaches that won. So we really only had, of our custom coaches, Tom, Nealand, Joe Pa, Woody, and Urban. And Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz must have retired. Okay, yeah, because Lou Holtz won in the 80s with Notre Dame. So Lou Holtz must have retired, and we're just not seeing him right now. Bowl record, 33, 31, 25. So wow, bowl record. These 2 killed it in bowls. Absolutely murdered it. Record versus top 25. This is kind of interesting. So Urban just killed it against tough opponents. All 3 of these guys did well, but Urban really killed it. Record versus rivals, 192 and 47. Woody was really good as well. Tom was pretty good. Top 25 recruiting classes. So Urban had the top 25 class every year except 2. Tom had it every year but 4, every year but 5. And then for average recruiting ranking, it actually was this Jesse Doyle actually finished 1. Woody Hayes, then Urban. Coach of the years, I mean, we don't really care about this a ton, but Joe Paw actually won 4. Most Heisman trophies. So Urban had 4 Heisman winners. Woody had 6 for Urban, 4. Then 3 at Nebraska, 2 at Miami, 2 for Don James. Other award winners, 78 other awards. Urban absolutely cleaned up there. Blew everyone out of the water. And then same with All-Americans, 207 All-Americans, 165. So 207. So he's averaging like 4 All-Americans plus a year. So guys, that is it. What a journey. If you watched this far, if you made it, I don't know if anybody actually watched every episode all the way through. If you did, let me know down in the comments. I will be, super impressed. And whoever even watched any of it, I thank you a ton. It was the biggest thing I've ever tried on YouTube. It might have been a little long. 7 episodes might have been too long. If I ever want to do it back to the 80s, I got to probably try to cut it down a little bit. But I will be doing I'm going to keep making videos until the new game comes out in July, NCAA 25. But once we get to that, I am going to be doing resets again with those new games where we go back to the 2000s or the 90s or whatever and resimulate history. So I will be doing that again, guys. So thank you guys a ton. I've only been doing this channel for a year and it's been huge growth and it's been awesome. So I thank you guys. Everybody who's supported and watched the channel, it is freaking awesome. Thank you. And that is it. Oh, and if you want to watch any of the series, guys, I'll link it right here. And that is it, guys. King Reggie out.